other people, they can see it. Apparently, the network booted us off and they've restarted. Hopefully, we are live now. If not, I'll try to speak quietly and soothingly to people who might be listening. We did, I heard Matt's little alarm thing go off, so there should be some sort of raffle happening any minute now. Will this have restarted?
I'm getting music up, started right now.
You already said that. Will this change the people who have entered the raffle?
I'm not sure. I'll check in a second.
That's probably more important than starting your music, Matt. Or not. If you don't know how to do it, I can probably learn how to and do it quicker. Okay. See if no, more important than that, can you see if people can hear me or if they can see me? Everybody probably left because it was like 3 minutes. And
people are saying woohoo and such in the room.
Is it working?
I think so.
Yay! I hope so. Let's make sure that doesn't happen again, Kitty. Okay.
Your computer restarted. I don't know what happened.
That's not what I said. I said something very specific, and
okay, I don't know how to stop your computer from restarting. I'm not sure.
Honey. Yeah. Well, we can talk about that later then. Okay, so it's broadcasting now. And did the raffle restart? That's what I was worried about. Because if people already entered, I want to make sure.
I don't think it restarted.
Okay, so I heard your alarm going off. It would be whoever's won for the Jackson Selling mug, correct?
Yes, it looks like all the entries are fine.
Yay. Okay.
Lisa Isabella Rosa won.
Excellent. Weren't we just talking to her?
We were.
That's convenient. Excellent. Well, congratulations, Lisa Isabella Rosa. Did she win once before or something? Or
probably.
Maybe so. Like we were saying, sometimes it works that way, doesn't it? Well, she is the winner of a Jack and Sally mug, and we will send that to you, Lisa. Matt will give you some instructions of how to contact us so we know your address and everything. Because, as we often say, we can see your name here at Twitch, your handle, but we don't know what your real name is or where you live, so you have to let us know. Otherwise, we don't know where to send your price. And we're always happy to ship anywhere in the world, and you never have to pay for anything. It's completely free. What I've done here, I was talking, I don't know where it cut me off. I remember I was talking about how it's going to do signings at the Haunted Mansion gift shop, yes. Right? Okay. And that will probably be a little bit later this spring or summer, but in addition to doing the usual signings I do at Disney Springs here in Florida, I will also be doing at least some signings over at the Haunted Mansion inside the Magic Kingdom. So that will be a kind of interesting thing, much like how I'm doing the one at the Disney California Adventure at Anaheim. That's actually inside the park there at Disneyland at DCA. I will start doing some of those here in Florida inside the parks. But again, don't worry, I will keep doing the ones at Downtown Disney and at Disney Springs. If not more even than before, I will be doing them. So even if you're not a pass holder, you'll still be able to come and see me. But if you are in the parks, that's the time to come because there's probably less of a line because you have to, buy a $90 ticket to get to the park, etc. But Memento Mori, some of the people here might know it, but it is one of the best gift shops that is at Disney World. It has, well, first of all, it's a funny name it's Memento Mori, which is, it's kind of funny because it's a souvenir shop too, and it's a souvenir gift shop for the Haunted Mansion, which is, of course,
it's a sweet little shop.
Death-themed, etc. And they have very unique things there. They have a lot of home decor stuff, and they've got, creepy photos you can get taken there. They've got neat photo booth stuff happening, and they've got a lot of the artwork that they have from a lot of the Disney artists like myself who are third-party independent contractors. So you see a lot more interesting takes and personal spins on a lot of the Disney characters, and they focus on villains there and Haunted Mansion stuff too, because it is the Haunted Mansion gift shop. And I think it will probably be as end of May, maybe beginning of June, that they'll have me starting to do signings there. And I'm looking forward to that. I think I have probably bought 5 different shirts from there too. That's where I got this really cute. It's like a tank top, and it looks like a kind of a landscape sort of toile finish on it. But if you look really closely, instead of being like a little French village, it's actually the architecture of the Haunted Mansion, which is pretty adorable. And it's the sort of thing that you probably wouldn't get unless you're a Disney fan. You looked at it up close, you're like, oh wow, it looks like that sort of French wallpaper. But instead of being like, you know, a little tiny village, it is actually the Liberty Square area where the Haunted Mansion is here at Disney. A bit more shading on her lips. I changed her expression just a little bit. Yeah.
Like we got a magic noise. I didn't see what.
Oh no! Is your computer not working?
No. I think that we got a follow from Lyle. Thank you so much. Oh,
excellent! Thank you very much. Is your computer not showing stuff?
Yes, I think it's perfectly on track now.
Okay, so
everyone says everything's good now.
Yay! Yeah, I don't know.
So apparently, what happened is Jasmine's computer restarted. I don't know.
My computer.
What's that, Monkey?
My computer. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When I looked over, it was rebooting itself. I don't know what happened. It probably just needed to update.
It's probably one of those things, and it's like, do you want to update now or update in an hour?
It said that 3 days ago.
Did you say update now, or did you say do it later?
I said do it later.
Don't ever say that. We use it for broadcasting, honey.
Okay, then I will. What I can do is always restart it before we do. It in the future.
That seems like
that's an easy fix. I'll just do that.
Seems like a given. Okay.
But I haven't been here for a while, so I didn't know. Oh, Pam just sent us 8,000 bits.
Okay. Oh, wow, 8,000? That sounds like a lot.
Much.
Thank you very much. That was Pam?
And Son of a Xenomorph says, see you, Jasmine, at Wonderground Gallery.
I'll see you there. Whether the Florida or California, I will see you there. I'm hoping that some of the overseas Disney places will get Wondergrounds out of them, like at Disneyland Paris or in Hong Kong or Tokyo, because none of them, as far as I know, have the fine art galleries as far as Disney goes, and that would be fantastic. I think they'd go over really well, too. Disneyland Tokyo has massive amounts of souvenir sales and things. I mean, there's like, you've seen the lines, like when it's like the park's closing and people just buying like souvenir cookies and stuff. It's insane. But I think the gallery would do really well.
It's 4:10 and we're 85 viewers.
Okay, well, not everybody left then.
No, they didn't leave. No one leaves.
Some people did.
They came right back.
Okay. 10, 15 people didn't. That's okay. Maybe, yeah. That's the problem with the internet. If something stops for like 5 seconds, people go look at what's happening on the other channel. That's just how it is. I make her lips. I haven't decided yet if I want to give her more natural lips or if I want to make it look like she's wearing some sort of lipstick. So what I'm doing right now is kind of shading in as if it's underpainting. Just the shape of her mouth. I don't want her to look grumpy, but I'm not trying to look like she's like in a commercial selling something. So I don't want her to be smiley per se. If you see portrait style paintings that are from a past time period, they don't tend to be smiling. If you go to an art museum, you go to the Louvre, you go to the Hermitage, you go anywhere that's an art gallery, like with old paintings, historical paintings, you will see very, very few smiles on people's faces because that's not something you typically do when you're posing for a portrait. I've probably mentioned before, but people always make a big deal about the Mona Lisa, how she's smiling, and she's just like barely smiling. And it's like, oh, there's a smiling painting. One out of, 2 million paintings that are at the Louvre, one is kind of smiling. That is not a thing you usually do in portrait style paintings. You also don't see it in a lot of early photography sort of portraits. Part of that has to do with the fact that when they first started taking pictures, like old family pictures, Victorian era, that sort of thing, the exposure would take a long time. It would take 5, 10, 15 minutes for the camera to actually get all of the info and go into it. So you don't want to sit there with the same sound on your face, so people tend to look very serious, which makes you think, oh, people used to be more serious back then, but really they just couldn't move along a lot for their pictures. But I think the same thing with portraits, even though it's a painting and it is contemporary, but it still look old-fashioned. So there you go.
Jasmine, Sassy wanted to hear about the Haunted Mansion store.
Yes, I don't know how much of it got cut off. Memento Mori is the name of it, and I will be starting to do some signing events there. And this will be at the Disney World location. Memento Mori is in Liberty Square, right kind of when you leave the Haunted Mansion, when you're exiting it, and when you're leaving the Haunted Mansion, it's kind of on your left-hand side after you walk through, before you get to the graveyard. And I will be doing some autographing sessions there. And I don't know when it will be. I don't have the exact dates, but I think it will either be at the end of May or the beginning of June. And that will be, we'll have to have park admission to get in there because it is at the Haunted Mansion. But they're going to, typically they mostly have my Haunted Mansion artwork and also some of my villains. They have like the creepier stuff there because it's kind of it's like the kind of goth sort of souvenir shop they have there. But they are going to have additional items of mine there because I will be there in person signing. So that will be starting sometime later this spring, and I'll let you know as soon as I know the exact dates.
Jasmine,
It is,
Son of a Xenomorph says, I'm going to try to go to the David Van Gogh show.
Excellent!
On Saturday, so I may see you then. Troy sends his hugs.
Oh, excellent!
So I wonder
Yay.
who, I think I can guess who.
I think I can guess this. Okay, well, we will definitely see you there. That's excellent. I wasn't sure that would be one that you'd like to go to, so that makes me very happy if you're going there. If anybody else who is in California on March the 9th, that Saturday, obviously I'll be at Disney World or Disneyland for the first 2/3 of the day, but that evening at Dark Art Emporium in Long Beach, my friend David Van Gogh, who I think you can see part of one of his paintings here. I collect his artwork. I've known him for 15 odd years, and he's fantastic. He's having a solo show called Paradise this fall that will be amazing. I've watched him work on it for years now. It should be pretty fantastic. And Matt and I will be there. We're just there for fun because we like him and want to look at his artwork and stuff. But if you're in California and it is the evening time, go to Dark Art Emporium in Long Beach. And his name is David Van Gogh. It's like Van Gogh, but there's a U in there, kind of. And he's a wonderful, wonderful painter. Very, very interesting, sometimes politically charged, disturbing stuff. So not for all ages necessarily, but I would highly recommend it. So that would be awesome if the person who's talking to us is going to be there, and hopefully some of you other guys too, because then we can just kind of hang out and see cool art stuff that isn't mine and isn't at Disney World. So, excellent. Actually, I might have
a lot of fun.
I think so. I think we might have some other art friends in common that might be going there. So that it should be a heck of a party. That should be fun. Also, that's a neat store, the Dark Art Emporium. They have all sorts of weird stuff. Like, they've got sort of natural oddities and human skulls and like cool taxidermied bugs and stuff, obviously stuff I like to collect anyway, so it's a neat place other than that. But they're gonna have the opening for David's show there, and it should be pretty fantastic. It's also kind of a neat part of town over in Long Beach there, so it's a fun place to go.
Art.
It is called the Dark Art Emporium. So if you don't like creepy stuff, or you might be offended by stuff really easily, maybe it's not for you. Maybe stick to the Disney World stuff. But if you are wanting to see somebody who is a fantastic painter and really on the cutting edge of social commentary and commentary on everything in general, that would be a good place to go. And you can see the sort of stuff I collect. I saw on his Facebook he's going to sell some of the sketches he did for the paintings too. He's got them all framed up, so I might try snagging one of them.
Are they going to be on the wall?
He says they're going to be displayed there. I don't know if they're going to be for sale, but I just got a painting of his that's like 4 feet tall, so I don't know if I can get another one right away, but I might at least try to get a sketch. So. But yeah, you'll see his artwork in movies, and he used to do a lot of stuff for like comics and graphic novels. You probably know his work. I just randomly come across it on the internet. My nephew posted something the other day. I was like, hey, that's David's art.
Buddy's thinking about taking the Metro Blue line all the way down there.
Oh, is that how it works? Okay. I don't know Los Angeles well enough. I know they're getting better at public transportation and things. I don't really know how all that works.
I think we will be driving.
We will probably be driving because we're renting a car. And I've got my Disney show until at least 4 o'clock, and then I probably have to do some other Disney stuff. And I think the Paradiso Fall, which is the David Van Gogh show at Dark Art Emporium, in that evening, I think it opens at 7 p.m. So we will. It probably stays open until like 10 or 11. So hopefully, I know traffic always takes twice as long to drive somewhere in Los Angeles than I think it's going to. But that's awesome. Well, I hope I will see them there. It's like, I always think in the back of my head that Los Angeles is like one city, but really it's a whole bunch of smaller cities that are all kind of next to each other.
No kidding.
It's like, oh no, we're staying in our Malibu place that we usually stay at, but you know, Disney's in Anaheim, and then the show's in Long Beach, and then I've got to go off to Santa Monica, and they're like not even close to each other. But
I've never been to a city that needed public transportation more than
that makes me
LA.
happy that he's saying that you can take the metro down there. That's cool. They need to do more of that. That makes it a more livable city for people like me who don't drive. I certainly can rack up some Uber bills there, but... Well, that's exciting. And that is why we will not be here next Sunday, because we will be in Disneyland doing my signing and hanging out with friends at the Dark Art Emporium.
We'll get to enjoy some good weather. I know it's supposed to be a bit chilly.
Yeah, again, I only looked at it like... a little while, maybe like 3 days ago or something. I was looking at the temperature and it looked like it was going to be like 59 or 60. So, which is nice.
Not enough to hinder.
No, especially if you're doing things like going to art shows that are indoors. It's not an outside thing.
No, I'm not like the beach.
Yeah, you know.
Might be a little bit cold for the beach.
You know, we're from Florida, so their beach always seems a little bit cold anyways in California. Even like in August.
Some frigid water.
It's a lot further north, and it's the Pacific. It is not the Atlantic or the Caribbean. The beach down the Atlantic, when you get down to Florida, it's almost like the Caribbean for a lot of it. So it's like a giant swimming pool. And then you go to the Pacific, and there's like these giant waves, and there's rocks. We don't really have rocks in Florida, so you see these big cliffs and rocks and stuff, and it's very, very different.
Thank you everyone for joining the pin tier.
Oh gosh,
We've had a bunch of people.
Did we? Excellent. Well, like I said, we have a few of these left. I'll tell you if we run out. Well, this is broadcasting. I'll let you guys know. But in the meantime, I think we should probably have enough for the next day or two. Anybody who's signing up for the pin tier, you can still get strawberry cupcakes, and you will also be getting the Luna Moths one. And since it's technically March, you'll get the Voodoo and Violet also. So it is. Even if you aren't ever planning to even collect the pins, sign up now, get those, and like sell them on eBay or trade them with people, and it will be worth your while. I don't want to sound like QVC, but thank you
for joining
very, very much. Also, too, we'll be talking not to talk about Patreon so much, but after I do a bit more work on Absinthe Reflections here, I will be working on this little tiny sketch I had here that's going to be a customized painting. You know how like we sometimes auction off for a lot of bidders here at Twitch? This is going to be one I give away for free at Patreon. So I'm going to randomly pick a Patreon person, and they will get to tell me how to finish it. Like if they want to pick their color and everything. Yeah.
How much, if I'm not on your Patreon and I wanted to win that, do I have to be of a certain tier, or how does that work? What a good question. You don't have to be a certain tier at all. You can be the $1 person and you're included. Everybody is equal on that for the random surprises. Again, you can't do raffles or giveaways at Patreon, but I do like to randomly surprise my patrons with things like original paintings, and this will not even just be an original painting. It will be a customizable painting. It's like, hey, I want to win this, and I'd like you to paint her so she looks like my daughter and put my dog in there, and I can totally do that. So that's amazing.
That is typically when we auction those, they go for between $2,000 and $3,000. So that is a fun thing to get. And
would it have a frame if people?
It does. Do you don't? Is it handy or is that upstairs?
Yes, it's very handy.
Oh yes, I will show you, and we will frame it for you. Matt will frame it, and I will, and you can name it, which I always think is kind of fun. Let's see. So what was I saying? Okay. Oh, here we go. Yep. This is the one. Yay! This is, you know how I like to have these very extravagant kind of Rococo frames? I have a very small version of it that I love doing for these. I might can see it from the side. Maybe I'll show it on this other one up here. But it makes the painting quite a bit bigger, but it's also kind of a really cool antique. It's cast from an antique frame. It's like plaster and wood, but anyways, we will throw that into, and that will be free. We'll begin with Patreon.
If you don't want it framed, you don't have
And if you don't want it framed, we have quite a few of the people who collect my artwork actually are also really into framing, or sometimes they make their own frames, or like paint pictures on their frames, or do cool craft stuff, which is awesome. So yeah, we don't have to give you a frame. That's just an easy way to display it if you first get it, and that will be for free. We will not be taking bids because it is going to be a giveaway. We won't sell that one. That is just for Patreon patrons. So if you're not, and it is also if you're on Patreon, I've said this a million times before. That's the way you see stuff before everybody else does, and I give away stuff. It's like being on Twitch all the time, and I give you stuff, and you get discounts, and there's the pin tier, and there's if you're the $5 thing, you get like all the coloring pages.
I really
if you like coloring, oh my god, we just have a whole bunch of coloring pages we went up there. What were we gonna say, love?
I said Facebook is good, but
so says you. But no,
I'm trying to.
I'm
trying to be optimistic and kind.
Facebook drives me crazy. They don't show anything. They never show me stuff I want to look at, and they always show me ads I don't want to look at. But anyways,
so Facebook is okay.
Ooh, coloring
I'll say that. But Twitch and Patreon are fantastic.
Yeah, they're more fun. They're more interactive.
Where you can come to enjoy Jasmine's stuff.
And if you like coloring, we have these coloring pages, and these are just the most recent ones. We put them up a couple times a month at Patreon, and right now there's like 35 of them that you could get just for the $5 thing, and you can even quit like that same day if you want. Just download. Don't stay around, but you can theoretically. It's like getting a whole coloring book, and we also do grayscale up there, which I don't do with my regular coloring book. So it's kind of like a way you can get if you like to do grayscale or digital coloring, like on your iPad or whatever. And they're all the pictures up there are ones that you don't see on my website or in the magazines or on my regular coloring book. So if you're really into coloring, it's a good one. So I sound like a Patreon commercial now too. Also, if you're an artist or something, go up there and make your own Patreon because we need more artists up there.
And of course, I'm up there too.
And Matt is up there. He of course isn't a writer, so he puts his writings up there, and he also does audio.
Follow me.
Audio reviews of movies, and he's always putting stuff up there, and that's a good way to keep track of Maddie. So I don't know if you have a link up there, but put your link up on the Twitch too, because if people are used to hearing Matt go on, and obviously we talk about movies and stuff up here on Twitch a lot, but if you want to hear the official movie reviews and stuff like that from Matt, you can do that. In fact, the last one, his mom even has a bit of a review on.
And it's very last family. One's free.
Yeah, you can see stuff on there for free too.
I often put free stuff.
I usually put like when I announce when my Twitch is gonna be broadcasting, I always put that on Patreon, and that's free. You don't even have to pay $1. You can see that stuff for free. It's a better version of Facebook. It kind of reminds me of like the old LiveJournal days. I know I always get teary-eyed at LiveJournal, but it is a way that you can post a lot of information, and you don't get penalized the way you would at Facebook for putting too many words, or you have too many pictures, or you talk too much about something and they don't want to show it to people. It will show you everything. And that's a place you can kind of be yourself, and I like that. Okay, yeah, I'm kind of liking how I don't know if you can tell, show a little close up. I've kind of put a bit of a darker cast on her lips here. It's kind of a burgundy mixed with green. I might put some additional layers of color, but this kind of gives her a more kind of doll-like look to her that I like. And I think that looks a bit better than the wider, more natural lips I gave her to begin with. And I'm going to put a little bit more on her eyelashes, and then I'll probably start working on her dress, because I want to get some color in that fabric, yeah.
Black Orchid Fairy says, how do we find more artists on Patreon?
You know, that's the thing about Patreon. It doesn't really, suggest people to you. If you, you know what's the easiest way? You can't even really search artwork, can you? Is there a browse option at Patreon?
It's very limited.
It is. That's the thing. It's more like you tell people, hey, this is my Patreon. And it's not like Facebook and it says so-and-so like this.
Now, the artists that Jasmine would recommend are some of the artists that she follows.
That's true. You can always click on my Patreon and then say, Jasmine, if you click on my profile, it will say who I'm following. And then, obviously, there's a million other great artists up there, too. I might not have even found yet. But if you click on that, you will see some of the people that I'm following, and a lot of those might be artists you already know, or they might be artists that you will like their artwork of, because I have a lot of artist friends up there. Alternately, if you just go to, can you search by category on Patreon?
I don't know.
Like by art, visual arts? Because a lot of the people on Patreon, when they say art, they use that term very loosely. A lot of people are up there writing, for example, like Matt, or people are up there who are musicians. That's a huge part of Patreon, are musicians. You see a lot of people who, that's how they release their albums. It's like, hey, my Patreon.
Honestly, not very well.
It is not a very user-friendly site as far as finding discovery stuff. And there are legal reasons for why they do that. Part of it is because it's subscription-based. But if you were to look at, if you were to just Google the words artist in Patreon, you'll probably find some. But if you want to kind of go down the rabbit hole, look at my Patreon profile, and you can see who I follow. And then if you look at the people they follow, you can kind of spider web out and see, oh, this person likes this person. Oh, they're probably pretty cool. Well, the person they likes these people. Oh, that's pretty cool. And that's kind of how I've discovered people that I otherwise might not have known that I would like, because I say, hey, my friend whose artwork I collect, they collect this person's artwork. A lot of artists also collect artwork, obviously, so you can kind of go from there. But yeah, if you look at the people I follow and see who they follow, you will find a whole network of artists. And it is growing literally day by day. I have almost every day I have another new friend who will join Patreon, and they will set up a Patreon account. I think it's...
Yes, we want to encourage other people.
Yeah, I think it's people who get frustrated by stuff like Instagram and Facebook, who are like, we'll show this picture to 1% of your followers.
Okay, the other day, I'll tell you, just being a normal guy, not Jasmine who has a gazillion followers. Yeah. I put up a thing, said, hey, come see my movie review up on Patreon. On Patreon? A post on Facebook.
Oh, a post on Facebook, yes. Not Patreon. Okay.
And I screwed up. It only showed it to family, a few close friends.
Well, hey, Mom, look at my movie review.
But here's what I did. So I deleted that one. Yeah. And then I posted it again, and it didn't show it to anyone.
Yeah, that's Facebook.
Now, I'm not saying that people, frequent it or, but I didn't get a single like or anything.
Not one
so it was
person
bizarre.
Shows
and
it,
so I think since I had posted twice in a row,
there's
something about the Facebook algorithm.
Their algorithm
we're not going to show that to anyone.
Screws it over, and they do that if you're trying to say something. It's like, hey, also I'm going to a specific place at a certain time for a signing. They automatically think it's like a concert, like you have to pay money to show them an ad, and it's like, no, I'm just trying to tell people I'm going somewhere. They act like, if you are somebody who's even selling something like your own artwork, they act like you're Coca-Cola and you have to pay them money to show it as an ad. I hate it. But Patreon is Patreon, so you can put whatever you want up there, and I really dig it. And it's very good. If you guys are musicians, any of you, I know we have a lot of really creative people who are up on this channel, but that is a wonderful place to showcase your music and to make a good platform if you're wanting to do something outside of iTunes or Facebook or something like that, and you're just like, hey, you can automatically get downloads of my songs. You can do it for free. You can just say, hey, please give me $1, and that helps at least pay for your time to do it. And it's like a Kickstarter that's on a very low level that goes all the time. I'm taking some of that same light color that's kind of a blue-gray that I outlined her lips with a bit. You can tell to make them look kind of more three-dimensional. I'll put another layer of color in that, but I've also gone over the inner part of her eyelids, both her upper eyelid and the lower part of her eyelid there.
Jasmine,
yeah,
are you looking forward to the next vinyl?
I am, and I'm talking about Patreon again. I'm getting fairly close, because that's when I get that 10K mark up at Patreon, that will be the next vinyl, and it's going to be extra special because we're using the mold for 2 different vinyls, and one will be a Patreon exclusive that only Patreon people can get, but we're going to use the same mold, so I'll have like different paint on that one, which is it's kind of like a variant, if you would. Yeah.
That Nintendo guy suggests forget paying Facebook for any advertising and get a Skywriter.
Yes,
plane instead.
Everybody would see it then. Everybody who's outside and looking at the sky. It'd probably be money better spent. Really.
April says, happy late anniversary.
Oh, thank you very much.
I don't even know how you guys found out.
22 years. I think it says it somewhere on Facebook or something. Because I've gotten a lot of happy anniversaries. I was like, I didn't really say it to many people. But thank you. 22 years. Thank goodness. That is quite a while. Hey, it's better than most people do.
It's not better than a lot of people do.
Yeah, it's my parents.
I can't take any advice from most people.
No, I don't. That's okay.
Yeah, skywriting is a good idea.
Skywriting is a very good one. Yeah. But yeah, at some point it's like, well, should I just get that money and put it like on one of those like benches they have at the bus station, you know, like on 192 over by Disney World.
I don't know. Maybe things will go back to
that's
that.
what I mean. I think in a way it's come full circle, and like one-to-one contact is probably better than trying to bother with something like Facebook or Instagram. And Instagram was great until Facebook bought it and they made it follow their same commercial weirdness that drives me nuts. They wouldn't let me show my mermaids, even though they totally were not naked. They said they were naked, and they booted me off for like 24 hours. Poor Selena, really. They have that hanging at Disney World. That is not naked. Oh. Don't get me started, man. And don't look at the rest of the internet if you're offended by
when will there
Disney
be Prince
mermaids.
of the Devil?
Let me think. The Devil is one of the, much like this painting here, she's going to be debuting at Planet Comic Con / Spectrum Fantastic Art Live, which is March 29th, 30th, and 31st. So the prints will technically debut there in Kansas City at Bartle Hall for the convention. But after the convention ends, that's when we'll have them up on Strangeling.com. So if that's the end of March, it'll probably be the early part of April. If you are interested in the original painting of the Devil, that's one, when you get a chance, you don't have to right now, Mary, but if you can bring the print over, the painting's too big to really show here. That's one that I was painting probably about a month ago here at Twitch. The original painting will be there in Kansas City at Spectrum / Planet Comic Con. And is there a print over there? I thought I had one myself. Okay. If you're interested in that one, or if we are, do we have any more of the masterpieces, or did they all get reserved?
I think we
still
have one.
We still have one of the masterpieces available for reserving, and we think. If not, we'll do our best. But here's the Devil. If somebody missed out, this was a fun one to paint. Got a lot of cool hell caves and neat art history references and stuff in there. It's a hell cave. Look at it. Isn't that great? Yeah, that's not swearing, right?
Yeah.
And actually talking about hell.
No, it's talking about the place.
An actual place.
I like cave tigers too.
Location. Cave tigers, yes. But there she is. That's it all. And she'll be debuting. The actual painting will be there, and the prints will debut at Planet Comic Con in Kansas City. But we'll have the prints up at Strangeling.com. If you want one of the masterpiece big ones that are the canvases that I do the embellishes, the big fancy prints, like Matt said, I think we have one. It might be gone, but we have reserved a lot of this already. But if you want one, or if you're interested in reserving the original painting, I forget what the price is on the original. What is that, an 18 by 24? So it's probably around $9,500. I think we might have a list of people on the list, but if you are interested, we will add you to the list, and that is for the original painting. The masterpiece editions are $5.95.
Yes.
Yeah, $595, and then we'll have prints from like $10. Actually, at the show, we might have mini prints that are like $3. So we'll have something for everybody. But that will be at the end of this month, and internet-wise, probably the early bit of next month. And I'll definitely let you guys know here.
And in the UK, whenever we have them for sale, they'll be £2.
Yeah, we haven't had
the we won't
we'll
have
them at Tinted.
We will.
Well, yeah, Tintagel's in May though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
we'll have them.
That'd be months later.
We'll have them at Tintagel
we'll have
for
some at
£2.
Tintagel. Yeah, a little mini prints.
A tiny one.
Yep. And we do them for $3 in the US and £2 in the UK, which is funny because sometimes we'll bring them back with us, like from our London house, and they'll have little stickers on it that say £2, and somehow they'll end up at Dragon Con, and it's like, is this $2? What's this mean? Like, no, it was pounds. It's kind of like $3 US, but
Jasmine.
Exchange rate changes a lot. Yeah.
Someone was asking about the painting, and I wonder if they're thinking about you wanting to turn At the Easel into a painting rather than just your design.
You know, painting. I don't know. Yeah, I did the line art was a painting on what, like, for the line, and this is the computerized scan of it that I printed out on a piece of regular paper. But yeah, as far as like an actual shaded in realistic painting, there isn't one of her so far. She only exists as a pin design.
But eventually,
I might
probably the pin art.
The artwork for the pin, like the line art, like this that's on a piece of wood that I did originally before I scanned it in for the pin die cut mold factory thing. That will probably go up, and usually I throw in a free pin with it. I usually do that after the events already happened, obviously. I think, is this one in London? A lot of my pin artwork I tend to do in London because I have a smaller easel there, so I do smaller format artwork there. So it would probably be after I get back. Might be later this year. But as far as the actual painting, like how this one is a realistic sort of painting with shading, it's not just line art and sketching. I don't know if I'll do a painting of that. It might be a little one, maybe like a little Faces of Fairy sized one. Yeah.
Is your little at the easel girl a lefty?
If you look at her, that's a weird question for me because there was a time in my life I thought I was left-handed, and I don't know if I just got trained to use my right hand. I'm one of those weird people who kind of go back and forth. I'm usually right-handed when I'm painting. I can paint left-handed, but I usually do right-handed. If you look at her here, she has 2 paintbrushes, which is kind of why I did that. She's holding her easel with one hand, and she's holding it with her right hand. But she's holding the paintbrush with her left hand, but she has another paintbrush there. So it's kind of a ambidextrous sort of painting. Typically, though, when I'm on Twitch, and most of the time when I'm painting, I paint with my right hand. But I have had to paint live at events, and they've had to set my easel up on my left hand, and I'll just paint left-handed there. I'm not as good with my left hand, but I can do either. So she's kind of either way. She's got 2 paintbrushes. That is a good question.
So Layla has a sin room. But that's where she keeps your 7 deadly sins.
Oh, I was going to say, that sounds kind of wicked.
And somebody thought they were going to ask, but they thought it might be a 50 Shades thing.
That would be non-family friendly. That's pretty funny, actually. Goodness, birdie.
You hear that?
You hear that? I don't know if they can hear it on the TV,
Birds
but there's
happy.
A wonderful birdie outside. We have a lot of good birdies in our yard.
Oh, man.
Okay, yeah,
he's
he's probably arguing with other birdies. It's hard to tell what they're going on about. It's funny, there are a lot of outdoor, like, wild feral kitties and alley cats that go to our backyard, and I can often tell if they're there because the birds start yelling at each other. They're like, no, bad kitties here. They're not our cats, they're just wild. Our kitties are inside, but there are some outdoor kitties that like to come in our yard. Of course, I feed them also. So. I know you're not supposed to, but some of them really need it. There's some scrawny little guys that I feel bad for. Okay, yeah, that is just... Well, you like that little black kitty who has like a hole missing from his leg. He's better now. He's better now. You know what? It's because I gave him nutritious food and a place to stay in my backyard.
If Jasmine could choose to paint any Harry Potter character, which would she choose?
Oh my gosh.
I'm Bellatrix Lestrange fan
myself.
Bellatrix
would be a very good choice. I like Luna Lovegood a lot. Hermione, obviously I'm mentioning like humanoid sort of identifying female characters, but because that's pretty much what I paint. But that would Bellatrix would be fun. I'd like to paint Bellatrix. Luna Lovegood would be good. I don't know. I'd like to paint all of them, really. I haven't really had the opportunity to because it's not a company that I work with, at least not yet. Hey, J.K. Rowling, if you're watching this, give me a call. I will paint your characters.
Yeah, give us a call.
Give us a call.
Bother us, please.
No, hey, you know what? I would not complain. I'm not usually a telephone person. I'm very phone avoidy, but
I doubt she is either.
If J.K. Rowling called me, I would talk to her.
She probably wouldn't want to talk on the phone either.
She could have her people talk to my people.
Oh. Probably misdialed Diagon Alley or something.
That's true.
That Nintendo guy says Professor McGonagall.
Yes, that would be a good one.
I think that the Dowager Countess from
that would be remarkably
Abbey.
Similar. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, just trade a witch hat for a fancy
violet sort of
kind of
early 20th century dress.
Hat.
Yeah. She always has
black.
Purple, doesn't she?
What's that?
She always wears purple. And
she often does.
Very often, not always. Yes. It's not a trope, but she very often wears purple, which is a great color. Pardon?
Someone said Tonks.
Tonks would be great. That would be fun for the hair. Yeah, that would be pretty great. Okay, yeah, I'm liking the way her face is looking. I'm trying a bit more shade under her nose because I don't want her nose to kind of disappear. Sometimes if I start putting too many light colors and building up the middle part of her cheeks, the nose starts to disappear. And you don't want, much like me, if I have too many lights on my face, probably like now I've got 1 billion studio lights on, my nose starts to disappear. But I want to make it look like she has a nose. Don't want her to look like Voldemort.
Layla says Dobby and Fluffy.
Aw.
It's bizarre when people and animals have adjectives for names.
Yeah, people do.
I suppose Matt means not shiny.
Yeah, Matty sounds like it'd be an adjective. Like that's very matty.
Extra not.
No, it's extra
very shiny.
Not shiny. Yeah, very matte finished.
Jasmine E.
Jasmine.
Yeah, I guess if you add E.
Jasmine.
Y
I do have
to the end of anyone's name becomes an adjective.
Jasmine. I'm trying to think of people I know. My nephew Fox, he could be Foxy. Willow could be Willowy. My name.
That's true. Willowy is
Willowy and Foxy are both adjectives, aren't they? Ellie is already kind of.
A lot of pet names are adjectives.
Yeah, we always kind of, if you're gonna make a diminutive form of something, I kind of put an E at the end of it.
Does anyone have a pet's name that's an adjective?
Do we currently? Let me think. Sunshiny?
No.
Rio. Type Rio is a Spanish name, so by Spanish.
Oh, that just means little tiger.
It means tiny tiger. And it's also a type of animal. That is also
okay, so Rengirl has a cat named Fancy.
Oh, there you go. That's an adjective.
Dog next door named Fancy.
Yeah, our neighbor's doggy, an ancient tiny poodle that was named Fancy.
Oh, she had pretty eyes. Her eyes were going blind, but they had this haze over them. They made them look beautiful.
But they were. She had these beautiful blue eyes. It looked like they were like marbles that contained the entire galaxy. I know it's because she was very old and couldn't see well, but she had beautiful eyes.
I have dogs called Cookie and Pixie.
Those are both E sounds at the end, but they're not quite adjectives.
Cookie E.
Cookie-ish.
Unless it's cook.
Unless it's cookie, like you're cooking
like
in
cooking
it. Kind of
and
cooking
and
yeah.
picking.
Not sure at all.
Daisy May is my Shih Tzu.
Aw. Daisy almost sounds like it would be an adjective because it's got that E sound.
Okay, so Tipsy is a kitten.
Oh, that's a great name for a kitten. They kind of bumble around a bit, don't they?
I don't get proper English in adjectives and adverbs. Not my thing, but I have Lily and Buddy.
Okay. Those are both E-sounding ones.
All you have
to
do to get better at that is to play a bunch of Mad Libs.
Yes. Find a 4th grader and play Mad Libs with them. No, they will school you on adjectives and adverbs.
Yes, and adverbs especially, because that's the one people usually have problems with.
Yeah.
Adverbs often, if it ends in ly.
Often, but not always. And then people think it's always, and it's like, not always. It's if it's describing a verb.
It describes a verb.
Yeah.
Swimmingly is always the funny one.
Swimmingly. Hey, you hear that in England sometimes. People say swimmingly.
Because swimming would be a verb.
Swimming is a verb.
See, now I'm getting nerdy with words.
Oh, I love getting word nerdy. I like
word. Yeah, but I just don't want the numbers to go down.
Oh, okay. There's 8 people in the room now.
5 people
Sorry.
left in the room.
Turn this into the grammar rodeo.
My puppy is Evie. Well, that would work if it was getting late.
Yes. Or if it was
Evie outside.
It's like it's all Adam and Evie in here. It's like a lot of snakes and apples.
I think the Mad Libs that say it describes an action, then I get it. Oh, okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I think in the beginning of
I think it does at the front of Mad Libs. It says that. That's also why Mad Libs are a good way to get kids to learn more about grammar. Or grown-ups, whichever.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Or just what's a verb?
We never had a whole lot of grammar in school. I mostly learned it when I learned German, and I kind of used it retroactively onto English, which is confusing.
I think verb is actually kind of a dumb word for an action word, because verb just means word.
It's that's a word for word. Yeah. It's Latin, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
It definitely is.
Or is it Greek? No, it's Latin. It's a Latin word for word. It's a verb.
Oh, so Husky says.
Supposed to verse.
Husky said, "Yep, I look at the chess." LOL, and then they said cheats. They corrected themselves.
Yeah.
Aw, Mush the Hound.
That's a great name. Are they like a Malamute or something, or like a husky doggy?
I don't know.
That'd be a good name for a ginkgo. My sister has a doggy who's a half Malamute, half German Shepherd, who looks like a little wolf.
Okay, so this is a good question.
What's that?
Bob Chemist says, kind of a technical question, but what would be the best paper to print your coloring pages on?
Oh.
Regular copy paper is too thin and too smooth. It depends on the medium, doesn't it?
It does. It depends what you're going to do with it. Again, I mostly am involved with the painting side of things. So there are probably people who are into coloring who would know more. If you're part of the coloring group at Facebook, go ask. There's like 10,000 people up there. But I would recommend they make a type of paper that is called inkjet watercolor paper. And that is textured like watercolor paper. So it's got like a lot of tooth to it if you're wanting to put paint or even something like colored pencils and you want a lot of the grain to shed through, like it's kind of texturized.
Yes.
And it's thick. It's like they also make a cardstock version that is not textured, and either of those work really good.
Right now, my caveat would be look at your printer, and if you have to, go online and look at the instructions because you may have to feed it through the back.
Yeah, sometimes if it's a thicker type of paper, you have to do the back side of the printer, and there's
we have
like a way you
wacky,
can
crazy printers here, so we don't.
Yeah, our printers are.
But
I mean, we can print on like wood and stuff. Our
the normal day-to-day printer, you may have to feed it through the back.
Yeah, but you should be able to do that either way. There's a cardstock or an inkjet watercolor. Watercolor is fun too because then if you are using something like acrylic paints or even watercolors or colored pencils or crayons or pastels or anything like that, you can use that and smudge it around. You can use erasers on it. It won't make a hole in it, and it's way better than just using
just make sure your settings are right.
You can even
it's usually built in.
Yeah. If you have places like oh god, is it even called Kinko's anymore? Is there coffee shops like that?
FedEx and Kinko's bought each other.
Yeah.
If you go to a larger FedEx center, they will have all
they will have them, and they'll have a bunch of types of paper. You can have them do it for you.
I'm not sure what they have there.
I don't know, but somebody in the coloring page group was talking about that, and they're like, hey, they can even do it on canvas.
Okay, so they probably even scan it in for you.
Yeah, and you can. Well, it wouldn't be. You wouldn't even have to scan it in if you had the download. Yeah, the UPS stores can do it sometimes.
Yeah, but they don't seem to have as much stuff.
Probably
in my opinion.
They're probably used to people that are at home now.
Yeah.
But if you have inkjet canvas, if you're wanting to paint like how I'm painting, like with acrylic paints, you can do them on canvas. You can print out the coloring pages like from Patreon, put them on a canvas and paint on a canvas, and it's you can kind of follow around. You can go back and find the Twitch session where I did the actual painting, and you can kind of do the same one, which is why usually on Patreon when I pick the ones for up there, like both of these, the ones I just put up there, there's Monarch and Blue Willow Fairy. You can print these out. You can do it on paper canvas. You can watch the Twitch broadcast I did. If it's not on Twitch anymore, look at my YouTube. I'm Jasmine Beckett at YouTube. It keeps them up there forever. So you can look at it and you can kind of follow along and you can choose your own colors, of course, but that kind of makes a little Bob Rossing of it. I'm going to let this dry a little bit, and I'm going to start working on her dress. In between that, I need to pour out my water because my paint water I have right now is starting to look like a swamp. I don't know if you can
10
see
minutes
that.
raffle, folks.
Okay, I will be gone like a minute or two. Actually, before I sit down again, I'll show you the blanket when I come back. So you'll see what you'll win. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I don't know what that thing measures, but it's huge.
I think it's 54 inches.
Yeah, if you're a normal-sized human, it will cover you. So you can, and like Jasmine said, kitty cats love it. So nice throw. Also, you could hang it on the wall. It's a big, it's a big piece of art, so that would work well too. We might do kitty time later. Oh. Didn't say anything. We'll wait until maybe after the raffle before we do kitty time. I do have some cashews, though. I'm kind of running low, but I think I'll be good tonight. It would kind of work like a wall tapestry. I've seen tons of wall tapestries. Has anyone in Florida been to the Ringling Museum? They have some amazing tapestries there by is it? I'm trying to remember who the artist was. We need puppy time too. I'm sorry, we don't have a puppy. That would be impossible for us. Sorry. I could pretend to be a dog. I don't think Jasmine would like that much. could make barking noises off camera. Honestly, I love doggies, but I have dog allergies. I could get a robot dog, but then nobody wants to see that on camera. The Ringling Museum is in, I think it's Sarasota, or at least close to there. I don't know exactly the city where it's at, but it's a lovely, lovely place. I recommend it. Jasmine, is the Ringling Museum in Sarasota? It is Sarasota. Yeah, we were talking about wall tapestries and hangings, and I was thinking about some that I had seen in Florida, for Florida folk. Yes, they're great. They're huge. Tapestries look like a ton of work. I just don't know how people did it.
Ones that are actually woven?
Yes. Yes. That's incredible, isn't it? That's a difference in, a couple $100 to $50,000. Oh, no problem. Yep, Jasmine will show off the bed throw in just a few. And for those of you who didn't see it earlier, it's a Frost Dragonling, which you may know from the website. I'll go ahead and pull up the image. It's a very popular piece up at Strangeling.com.
Like Matt was saying, it's a statue, and she's a pin too. Wasn't she the February pin?
Yeah, she's all sorts of things.
Or January of last year?
Something like that.
Yeah, she's on a lot of merchandise and stuff. But I've got the blanket right here, so I don't get any water on it because I put my water tap.
Yeah, it's a hard one to show off. I'm sorry about that, sweetie.
Okay, it's cool that it's hard to show off because that means it's huge. I just don't want to get paint on her either. I'd feel horrible. The printing on this too, I don't know how good the colors show up on the TV, but this is extremely vibrantly printed. It almost looks like the painting. I mean, it is literally that saturated. It is very lovely. Oh, here's my coloring pages, but I don't know. Can you see it on the TV?
I can see it very well on
the
computer. Mm-hmm.
And it's cozy. It's so cozy. I've kept it away from the kitties because they will get their cat fur all over it. But there she is. There's her little dragon. And these are super, super soft, super warm. Perfect if you're like watching TV on the couch and you're kind of cold out or something. And again, the back. Instead of just having a plain back, the company decided to put a giant version of my signature. So that's kind of hilarious.
I love that.
Yeah.
So if you haven't joined the raffle yet, type in exclamation raffle.
Do you so?
And again, if before we cut out earlier, it saved everything.
Oh, good. So if you already entered, you're already entered.
You are entered forever. MooBot is actually really the improvements that they've made.
Better than we are.
Yeah, it is better.
Yeah.
Well, I was still logged in the whole time, luckily.
Well, I don't know why you just said, like you said, it said it's one of those things where it's like, hey, you've got to restart or.
Yeah, but it said that like Wednesday.
Yeah, but if you never restarted my computer, I mean, you haven't been here for a few days, but if you haven't restarted it since then nobody would have restarted it. I wouldn't have. I hate restarting and updating stuff.
I know, that's probably why it wasn't.
Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm holding this up now and I'm putting it in the plastic.
Okay, so I won't show it again then.
No, you won't
okay. Because y'all can rewind and see it. Probably. I don't know. I don't know how Twitch works. Yeah, you don't want. It's like Jasmine's cat actually peed on this blanket. Makes it authentic. Is that the weird like bag it came in, like in the wheel?
That's a good bag.
It is a good bag. I kind of like.
I'm not gonna mess with their system. That's how they would send it to someone. They ordered it. Or Amazon.
Yep, you can get them at their Amazon store.
I'll go ahead and put up that link again.
Because they've got lots of the blankets, don't they? Don't they have like 20 different blankets you can choose?
Something like.
And right now it's only on their Amazon store because they are still working on their website. But when their website pops up, it will be available internationally. But for now, it's just on the Amazon store, which I think only ships to the United States. But Don't worry, guys. It will be available everywhere soon. So, again, her face is pretty much dry, so I don't have to worry about changing that. I will probably put a bit more shading under her eyes, her nose, etc. after I paint more on her dress, because of I will want her dress to kind of reflect on her face. Much like when I was working on the painting I did last weekend, La Belle Dame Sans Merci, I wanted to paint the whole character before I painted the helmet, because once you paint the helmet and that's reflective, the colors around it change what the helmet's going to look like. So I outlined it a bit and put a bit of highlights, but then once I painted the red, I'm like, oh, I put a poppy there, it's super red, and put the red right there because it's reflecting. Need to put green there, put purple there, put a bit of flesh tone from her foot and all that there. Much like with that, obviously her face isn't going to be as reflective as something like a piece of metal, but she's going to have a big red curtain here that's going to be highly saturated, and then she'll have the colors in her dress, which I think we decided to do with like a gold with black kind of navy blue on it here for the bodice, and then black navy blue with gold accents on it, kind of like the opposite of it for the arms and the skirt area. And once that is painted, I'll say, oh wow, that's really dark, or that's really gold. That would, on her nose, which is why I haven't put a whole lot of color on her nose, since your nose, or her nose, or most people's noses kind of stick out, if she's going to have a bright color, it's going to reflect on the bottom side of her chin, a bit under her lips. She's not Voldemort. I think I already made that joke, didn't I? Yeah, I did, when her nose was starting to disappear. But I will have some uplighting that is from the colors of her dress, but I want to make sure I've decided on those colors before I put those colors on her nose. Also, too, one of the final things I'll do, because it will be the most highly saturated, most brilliant, kind of glowy sort of thing happening, is the little absinthe fountain, her little glass there. I want to look like it's glowing. I want it to be a counterpart to where the moon / sun, or whatever ambient sort of time of day it is here in the clouds. I want that to be kind of reflecting too. So I'll probably put some uplights that are maybe like an almost neon green around her nostril, which would look weird right now because that is not super bright green, but once I've done the areas around it, I'll know what sort of uplighting, backlighting, reflected shadows to put in her face. And those are just things that you do while you go along. I kind of like painting by the seat of my pants a bit and deciding while I'm working on it. I have friends who are artists who will do the complete thing in a sketch, do a color off, they know where they're going, it's like they already have everything decided and they just do it perfectly every time. I kind of do it halfway, sketch it out, and I figure it out when I go along. Both ways are good. The other way is probably better, but I think I have fun personally just with my personality, just figuring it out when I go along. Like you're talking about the ringling, the tapestries there that are actually the sketches for the tapestries.
Oh man, that Alice in a Dolly blanket looks great. I'm sorry to
What's that?
I was looking at the...
Oh, was there an Alice in a Dolly blanket?
Yeah, I saw it on...
Okay, shoot.
Link.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They've got a lot.
I don't 100% know if they have everything they're going to make. I think they're just going to keep making more and more stuff.
They are. They're going to be adding a lot more stuff, too. And they're very high quality. The printing on is fantastic. They're made here in the United States. They're actually... Their factory or their warehouse thing is like maybe a couple blocks away from where the Corey Helfer Gallery is in down in Los Angeles.
I'm wearing a
it's
shirt
a family that owns it, and it's kind of rare nowadays to find companies that are here in the same country that are just like a handful of people working there without outsourcing it to like a giant factory in Asia somewhere, which is also fine, but it's just a rare thing to find. So
we've got Laney415.
Oh, and they won the blanket.
They won the blanket.
Congratulations, Laney. That will keep you cozy.
Yay.
I know it's not super cold. Yeah, hey, some places are still getting snow now.
I know. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
You kind of need to move to Florida.
What's that?
I said you kind of need to move.
You kind of got to move to Florida. Oh, I'm almost out of this. This is my quinacridone nickel azo gold. Now, I was talking about making this part, like her bodice area, gold with dark blue, kind of navy black embroidery. And then the other parts of her will be the opposite. So it will be black with gold embroidery. So I definitely want to use some of my quinacridone nickel azo gold. But I am almost out of it, but I think I have some more. I don't know if I can see this. I've got like this Big Lazy Susan that has...
I was going to ask you if I needed to put it on the list.
Oh, no. It's funny. We have a digital list where I write down what paints I'm running out of.
We're almost out of, and I immediately think about...
Yeah. No, I've got loads of these. Whenever I'm out of a paint, I have 2 or 3 of them right here. I can pick. And when it gets down to one left, I have a little digital messenger thing, and then Maddie orders them, and they get shipped to me. So before I run out of any one color, I've got 2 backups, and then another one comes. So I never run out, because it's a pet peeve of mine. If I'm working on a pen, and I'm like, I need that much more of the Nicolai's Gold. And if I'm out, I'm not going to wait 3 days to go to the art supply store. Yeah.
Rokamel says, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
I apologize. Would love to see a Madame Leota interpretation by Jasmine. That would be fun to paint.
You are in luck. I have not gotten the official contract, but I just got the approval from Disney to do a Madame Leota for the 50th anniversary of the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland. So that will be coming late this summer. And I when I say I literally just got approval, I mean within the past several hours got approval. So we have psychic people in the room today, don't we?
I think it's a psycho.
We have psycho people in the room today.
Yes. Psycho.
Yes. We got a lot of psychos in our room. But no, I will be painting Madame Leota, and it will be for Disney, and it will be for the 50th anniversary of Disneyland California's Haunted Mansion, which is, the actual anniversary date is August 8th. I don't know if that's when the event will be, but I know they'll have me out in California for whenever they decide the August event for the anniversary will be.
Jasmine.
Yeah.
Princess Bullet told me that Lainey was complaining on Messenger that she would never win in a million years.
Oh my gosh.
Well,
see?
All
you have to do get your way is complain, and then the fates conspire
you can
to
complain
make you win
to
prizes. Yeah.
I just click buttons.
Yeah, we don't really have a say. I don't think there's a way you can even bribe Moobot, right? You can't even fudge it, right?
I have been here every single broadcast.
And Matt is technically entered because he's always the first person to enter, aren't you? And he's never.
Yeah, I have to make sure it works. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that somebody who has not won yet has won something. I mean, I think it's kind of funny when somebody wins 3 times in a row, but
yes,
that's
the squeaky wheel gets
random,
the grease.
Yeah.
M. Campbell says you attract the psychos.
I do, yeah. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, 22 years? 22 years,
22 years, man. Yeah, good job, Maddie.
Hey, Lainey, you got it,
Are you talking to her? You won, Lainey. Yeah.
Lainey says that robot hates me. Apparently not.
Did she not know that she won?
You know you won, right, Lainey?
You won. You won the blanket.
Now fill out your form and send us an email.
Yes, email us. Tell us your address. Otherwise, we won't know how to send you your blanket.
Otherwise, you won't get your blanket.
Yeah. That would be sad if she never knew she won. Or I don't know if they're he or she, but if they... Okay.
In case
Lainey,
you didn't see it.
Whoever it is, Lainey, what's her name? Lainey.
Lainey. I know their. I'm pretty sure I know their real name.
Okay. Well, you don't have to say their real name, but whatever their screen name is, I say it out loud too, in case they're not. If they're only listening, like if they're driving in their car, I like to say it out loud.
Lisa Isabella Russo won the first draw.
Lisa Isabella Russo won the Jack and Sally.
And she's not making any joke about her name. That's like my name, Matthew Beckett.
Oh yeah, that's yeah. But,
I always do that. I do that on all my social medias. I never have a name that's not just my name.
You did when you were younger.
When I was younger, yeah. When I was young.
So much younger than today.
Yep. I don't like this.
My name is too long often, or I have a hyphen in my name, and
I attract the psychos, not Jasmine.
That's why I was congratulating you.
Oh,
because you've had me for 20 years or 22 years.
You know, I kind of do.
Yeah, honey.
Wow. It would be sad to win and not claim a prize.
That's
that happens every now and then. I have to kind of
very rarely, and then we have to kind of put our detective caps on. We're like, well, I wonder if they have the same name on Facebook, and we just try to Google them and see how we can contact them. Because if you're not in the room, we don't know how to tell you, because Twitch does not give us they are not a data mining site on our end. They don't tell us like, hey, this is their email address. We don't know how to tell you if you're not like here.
Yeah, Lisa Isabella Russo says it's hard to think of a fun name. I remember years ago when AOL basically was the internet.
Yeah.
And I remember typing in what you thought was a clever name, and then AOL suggested whatever, and they'd add 416.
And they'd put the year you're born at the end. Yeah. It's always
that's good. For example, Ren Girl 69. she's probably born in 1969. That's just a guess.
Maybe. Or maybe it's a rude joke.
Will this painting be a canvas cutie at some point? Well, that's up to Jasmine. Sometimes they don't work out properly for that size.
That's the thing. It's not even the size. It depends on whether or not the composition works as a square. For those who don't know, canvas cuties are the environmentally friendly thing we do with the middle squares that we have left over, and we cut our stretcher bars. So
3.5 by 3.5 inches.
Yes. So it doesn't even matter in the size. It's does it make a square? This one would probably make a pretty good square. Do I have my ruler? I did have my ruler. Where'd it go?
I set it over there because it was in the way at the time.
Oh, well, yeah. If you can show it to me real quick, then I'll show people what I mean.
I wouldn't think you need that.
Because it doesn't matter how big the painting is. It has to do if a square can be made out of it, and it still looks like the picture. Like, Let's see. Hopefully that. It's hard for me to gauge what that camera is saying.
You look cute with a ruler in your mouth.
Thank you. But basically what I would do, I would look at something like this. It's a portrait, right? So I would look at the width of it. This is a 12 by 16. So if I were to look at 12 inches, like I wanted the width to be of it because that's going to be the limiting factor. And that would be the whole width of it. But if it's a canvas cutie, it has to be a square. So I have to look at what's 12 inches above that. If it's to a point, sometimes this painting would actually make a pretty good canvas cutie because if I look at 12 inches, that includes her face. If I were to make it 12 inch, like it's a scanner, that would include her hand, and it would show the absinthe in there. If it was a really weird shaped painting, like a really narrow painting or really wide painting, and it's like, oh, you could see one of her eyes, but only part of her hand and not her mouth, you know, if it was oddly shaped, that'd be a terrible canvas cutie because it couldn't be a square. It's like that or squish her in and it looks like some bad, horrible, shrinky-dink sort of printing thing that's wrong. So I wouldn't do that. I want to keep the proportions the same, but it's cropping a square out of it. That's the problem too. Other ways when I do square paintings, like My Faces of Fairy or Tiny Treasures, sometimes it's really hard to make a rectangle out of them, which is why I don't usually have them as rectangular prints, because if you try to make a rectangle out of a square, you have to cut off a third of it, roughly, math-wise. And it's like, well, you're going to cut off part of her eye, or maybe neither of her eyes are in it, it's only part of her hand. You know, if you have to make sure that the part that is a square, again, if you're looking, this is 12 by 16, look at the smaller proportion of it, 12 inches, that's good, we're gonna like that, but where do you have the 12 inches this way? Because it has to be a square, because it's a square format. And this one's pretty good. I can see, you can't see this hand, you won't see the reflection, which if you're thinking of, if you're like, I love this painting because I like the cool reflection, you would not be able to have the reflected hand in there at the same time you'd also have her eyeballs. And I think, well, the people probably want her eyeballs more than they want her reflected hand. So if we do a canvas cutie, she will be 12 by 12, probably about this part, like right above her hairline, down to almost where her hand starts. So that would be the canvas cutie. I wouldn't be able to have the reflection in there because then it would have to be a rectangle. And that's the thing I think is hard if you're not a painter or somebody who works with visual arts a lot, hard to explain to people because they're like, I love that painting. It's like a big, like 12 by 46, really narrow painting. And they're like, can you make that as a square? I'm like, I could make it a square, but like just be your hand or be like one of her eyeballs. Or you could squish it down and make a horrible, I hate it when people read the proportion. The one that a lot of people
wanted and it didn't work was Ninja Dragonlings 2. It just didn't work because it would have cut out everything. It would cut out
one of the, you know what I did though? I'm doing that to make one of the new fans, the bamboo fans. But I had to like redo the whole painting just to make it so it was on a bamboo fan because that was more like a square size. I wouldn't do it for canvas; that'd be a mess. But yeah, because it's two characters, and it's like, well, it'd cut off somebody's head or somebody's feet, or one of the dragons would be there, and the other one would just have like the lower part of the dragon. It would be horrible. I don't know. You have to, if you look at a painting, picture it just in your head. If it was a square, go like this with your hands. Look at it. You don't need a ruler.
Jasmine.
And then you can see. Yeah.
When are you going to do another Faces of Fairy?
I don't know. Lately, when I've been doing square paintings, they tend to be little ones, like the Tiny Treasures. But I was working on one a couple of Twitch episodes ago that I'm going to do for Planet Comic Con Spectrum. And usually I do those for like live events, and it's kind of not a prize because they're not free, but they're pretty cheap compared to my regular paintings. And it's like, hey, you came to a live event, you can get a cute little original painting, or give them away at Patreon and stuff like that. But Faces of Fairy are harder now because when I'm doing a larger painting, my paint schedule, as far as working on things for shows, galleries, and projects like Disney or custom paintings and stuff like that, I am kind of booked up for, I would almost say, a few years. That sounds depressing, but it is kind of a few years in advance. So it's hard for me to find time to say, hey, I'm going to do a Faces of Fairy all of a sudden. That was usually something I would do in the past, kind of in between projects, and now there isn't in between project time. I'm always working on something. That being said, there is a Faces of Fairy that I have started that was from a couple of years ago that I'm still working on, that is a custom piece for somebody, and we've been working on it for 2.5 years, I think. So that will be the next one, but that's only because I started it like in 2016 or something. So that will be the next one. It's a lady and her beautiful serval cats.
Aww.
So that's
serval
pretty
cats
great. Serval cats or it's actually Savannah cats that serval bred domestic cats. But yeah.
Did you ever make shrinky dinks of your own art?
I have not.
Oh, that'd be fun.
I never had shrinky
even when you're
dinks.
little, like you.
I never had. I used to see. I saw commercials for them, and I always thought they looked so cool. And we didn't really.
I'll get you some, sweetie.
We don't. You know what? They make them now. I think you can print them yourself. So I probably could make them with my artwork. But when I was little, I always thought that was something like rich kids got or something. And I remember seeing commercials for them at friends' houses on TV, and I was like, shrink it in.
So did you have Easy Bake Oven?
I had an Easy Bake Oven, but I used it for cooking.
You're supposed to.
I mean, like actual cooking.
I love those light bulb brownies. So
yeah, see, there you go. Yeah.
Light bulb brownies. And Snoopy Snow Cone Machine?
I had one of those, and I opened a store based around it in my front yard, like a lemonade stand, kind of.
And Spirograph?
I had a Spirograph. Yeah,
those things are cool.
I
like those sorts of toys. I don't even know what to
Yeah.
call them. What are those sorts of they're not toys. It's
learning aids? I don't know. It's
they're like,
something
this
like
is
to
neat
teach
stuff you get in a
It
box.
teaches you while you learn. It's
Yeah.
things you get at the Toy and Science store.
Apparently you can print them yourself. I wonder if a company has that sort of...
You can buy them and put them on ink. I think you can the printers that we have, that we make our fancy prints with, I think you can do shrinky dinks with them.
That's hilarious.
Well, somebody posted something about shrinky dinks the other day, like one of my relatives did. And I was like, oh, that's kind of neat. Yeah.
When will the final one for the 7 Deadly Sins be done? I won't frame them until we have them all.
Okay. Well, for your sake, I will do it as soon as I can. It will be after...
Which one is that, Jasmine?
That will be Pride/Vanity. That's part of what's not been slowing me down, but when you have 7 Deadly Sins, the 7th one is either Pride or Vanity. Because that's the same sin.
I really want her to be taking a selfie.
What language... Oh, I've already talked to you about that. There's going to be a selfie element. There's going to be some sort of iPhone in the background taking her picture. There's going to be, or maybe a blurred out logo for Instagram or something, but maybe Snapchat, I don't know. But that will be part of it. But that will be the last one, and I am thinking about going with Vanity as opposed to Pride. I think Vanity in some ways is a more... it's a sin that's more contemporary. It's a more modern sin. Like Pride, that seems almost old-fashioned in some ways. I think Vanity
it's almost
is
expected.
Yeah.
It's very accepted.
Yeah.
People are just cool with it.
People are that way about Pride too, but then you hear the word Pride and you think Pride has so many nuances to the word too, and sometimes it's really good, and sometimes it's really bad. It's like, hey, gay pride, that's awesome, or it's like white pride, that's gross. You don't want to put a weird political spin on it. So I think Vanity is something that everybody can kind of relate to or can put in context with people they know. So I think I'm going with Vanity,
but Pride, I certainly suffer from and greed a bit.
Aw.
What are the other ones?
Gluttony,
I used
lust.
to. Gluttony was
gluttony.
Lust, no comment. I have my moments.
What's that?
Did I have my moments?
Yeah.
But it's not a. I would not.
Well, if you're gonna say something
compared
is a
to most
sin,
guys, not
if it's
even
to a sin, if you're saying something is a sin, it's to the point that it is to the detriment of your daily life or your responsibilities.
Okay, well,
so
sloth. I just don't. I think I'm
sloth,
too much.
No, we are busy people.
Envy? No, I don't envy. I don't think I have envy.
I don't think I have envy.
I don't think I have enough time.
I don't think I've ever.
A lot of
really...
these I don't have enough time to bother.
Yeah.
I think pride is my biggest one.
Again, if I go with vanity, though, I mean, you could say pride, like, oh, that hurts my pride. If you're talking about yourself, isn't self-pride kind of vanity? And pride, as in general, is referring to yourself in a group in which you're associated, sort of. It's like, I'm American, I'm very proud of being an American, but you're vain, that means you're proud of being you specifically.
Wrath, I think my wrath is grumpy.
I'm pretty wrathful.
I think Jasmine has wrath.
I've got the wrath.
Let's see, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, pride.
I'm not gluttony. But then you can also say gluttony doesn't have to mean food.
No, it can
You could say it means...
It kind of crosses over into greed, though, doesn't it?
It does. That's like, being greedy for
with somebody who chain smokes, would that be gluttony?
Yeah, let's say it's drugs or beer or something like that. That could be gluttony, right?
Some level of addiction.
Yeah, or not even something that's not good for you that you keep doing. Yeah, but that's kind of all of the deadly sins, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's something that if you did a little bit, that's fine, but if you do it all the time, that's not fine.
But I think certainly the most acceptable ones are pride, vanity, I'm going to call that one thing, and greed. We're in America,
yeah, we're American,
we're kind
so
of
we like greed. Yeah, greed could be greed for a lot of things. If you're just talking about money or more stuff.
Yeah, I don't think
but you could almost say greed. You could say it's more food, and then all of a sudden it turns into gluttony.
Was it the movie Seven with Brad Pitt, The Seven Deadly? Yeah. That
yes,
was
it is.
Movie.
Yes.
Good mention, Laura. I like that movie. Fantastic.
Or Gwyneth Paltrow, man. The end of that.
Lily hasn't committed to memory. Like the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah, all of it. It's like the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah, which Seven Dwarfs are?
It's funny. I've heard people who will try to list the Seven Dwarfs, and halfway through they start listing the Seven Deadly Sins.
Sleepy's definitely sloth.
Sneezy. That's not really a sin. That's more of like allergies.
Which box, April?
What's that?
I'm trying to.
I didn't hear what you said,
baby.
Baby.
Box. Do you have a box?
Do I have a box by me?
I don't know.
I've got a pine cone.
We have a pine cone.
Oh, I'm trying to think what you can...
life is in the box. The gift of life.
Oh, no. In Seven. The film?
Oh, I see.
Gwyneth Paltrow's in the box. Golly. That's
head.
Not a... It's just
spoiler.
Maddie. No spoilers, but... Yeah, that's not a movie for everybody. But
and now you can hate Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, you can watch him and you're like, wow, he's really kind of
a bad
guy. Yeah. He's got all sorts of sins on him.
And that's about as political as Jasmine I'll get, even though it's not political.
That's not political. That's just a jerk. Yeah.
Well, he plays the president in that one show.
He does, and you know what? He's a jerk in that too. So
I no judgment. I don't know what all goes on with those. I don't keep track of those sorts of cases.
I don't know. There's enough of it. I think
it's just kind of
I just know a lot of people are jerks, and I'm glad if they get called out for it if they really do. That is
almost all guys. In that
good for you. Well, guys are jerks sometimes. A lot of the time. I'm sure there are girls who are jerks. I just haven't known a lot of them.
They are. They're mostly school teachers.
I was gonna say I did have some teachers who were jerks. But
Kevin Spacey is amazing in Pay It Forward.
I haven't.
And so is the little kid from what is it? I See Dead People.
Oh, The Sixth Sense.
Yeah.
That's a good movie. I like Sixth Sense. It has Toni Collette in it. I like her.
Yeah, she's cool. What'd we see her in recently?
Velvet Buzzsaw.
What's that?
Velvet Buzzsaw.
Oh, Velvet Buzzsaw.
That was not as cool, but she was in that.
Oh yeah, Velvet Buzzsaw.
Yeah, why do I end up talking about that movie like 5 times a day? Everybody keeps tagging me in it because it's about galleries in Los Angeles. And
all I know is that I had to drink 2 glasses of wine to make it through it.
Like every 10 minutes, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, 2 glasses of wine. Whatever. Yeah. But, it was a movie about contemporary, figurative, dark artwork, and that is cool. The more discussion you can have.
The Usual Suspects is probably Kevin Spacey's best thing. Either that or...
Hey, he was in American Beauty. That was good. American Beauty is a wonderful movie. I love that movie.
Beauty.
I know a lot of people had problems with it, but I thought it was a good movie.
American Beauty was very good.
Yeah.
I didn't like... Oh, Luke Jacobo, he says, we know who he is.
I know this guy. Yeah.
I didn't like Velvet Buzzsaw very much. Yeah, you shouldn't, Luke.
It's not
good.
You have good taste, my friend.
Nikki says, I really dislike Velvet Buzzsaw.
Yeah, I don't know anybody who liked it.
I understand why you would dislike it.
But you know what? It's like, I've had so many people who are like, hey, and it's sad because we were excited about it. We're like, wow, and Matt's like, this sounds like something we should so watch.
Because it has
so
in the art thing,
it's art
not
related.
In the art thing.
It's literally in the neighborhood of art galleries I do, and it's adjacent to the sort of people I sometimes deal with, and it has actors I like in it, and it was new. It was Netflix. Okay, we had a night. We had our little takeaway with our.
We went into it wanting to like it.
Yeah. Well, and then if you think it's gonna be awesome and you start watching it and you're like, oh, okay, it's okay, keep going. This is jeez. And Matt's like, I can go to the bathroom. Do you want some more wine? I'm like, yeah, I gotta go to the bathroom too. I think we need more wine.
Yeah, after a while we just started.
And then they start laughing at it after a while. And it's like, then we just started talking about it, like, hey, that's not downtown Los Angeles. That's like in the valley somewhere at a storage unit. You know, just kind of, I don't know.
So, Steve says, yeah, but he's never played a werewolf. Okay.
Oh, Kevin Spacey?
He should play.
He should. He's
Jack Nicholson
basically
played
a werewolf. Yeah, Jack Nicholson. Yeah, I hear Jack Nicholson's probably kind of a jerk too, but that's okay.
Jack Nicholson's earned it.
Yeah, I think that's his brand, though. You know, that's kind of like what he goes for. So, and he's a good actor.
No, you hear lots of people are jerks. You don't know.
No,
you don't know. Maybe they had a bad day. I mean, I've heard a recording with Christian Bale. It made him sound really bad. That doesn't stop me from watching Christian Bale. Because don't
confuse the art with the artist.
Yes. Yeah. Wise words from the band Tenacious D.
Yes.
Do not confuse the art with the artist.
No. If you did that, you'd never listen to any music by anybody ever. Not saying musicians are all jerks, but a lot of them are.
For example, let's say you had an artist that you thought was great, or a musician that you thought was great, right? Not Jasmine or anything. I'm talking about.
No, I'm actually a pretty well-rounded regular.
And you love their
person,
music, right? Yeah. And then you heard that they had political views that were different than yours. Why would you suddenly? I mean, unless they're just really trying to mess with you.
Well, sometimes
why would you suddenly stop liking their music?
Sometimes people
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that's true. Or let's say you're going to like a writer who lived more than 100 years ago. Okay. They're probably going to have ideas about things that are not okay and are really messed up if you look at them now, but that's just kind of how people were 100 years ago.
Or even verbiage, like Mark Twain.
Mark
some
Twain
of his stuff would be controversial.
Oh, yeah. But he was actually very forward-thinking person. I mean, I think people who are like, oh, I don't know. In colonial times, and people were like, they thought, oh, America is like a wilderness filled with savages. You wouldn't think that now, but you're reading it from some British person 200 years ago.
Oh, you mean like something old, like a nothing else?
Anything, anything like that, really. Sure, yeah.
H.P.
They're
Lovecraft.
gonna have these. Oh, yeah, we talked about this last time, and I know a lot about him. Yeah, he was a jerk, and he said a lot of terrible things. So, but I like his stories. But I don't necessarily have to like him, you know.
Maybe LaFair said Wagner.
Yeah, oh gosh, that's a very good example. Yes. You know what? Everybody plays his music when they get married. I think a lot of people don't know that Richard Wagner wrote the wedding march, that Here Comes the Bride. He wrote that. And everybody, even if they're like, oh God, he was such a weird racist asshole, and they will play their music. I'm sorry. They'll play his music when they get married, though, won't they? You know?
Yes.
Yeah. There you go.
I can't, Grinchy, because it didn't.
Email
us, Laura.
Oh, what is it?
If you want me to check that out, or send it to me up.
Oh, is it? Or the link's not turned. Sometimes we
it's
can't.
Just a link that I can't see.
Oh, okay, yeah. Sometimes we have to turn the links off because people try to put ads up here.
Protect ourselves, so people don't put.
People put win a free iPad. Click this link and click.
We decided to do that before we started Twitch, actually, because we heard from an artist friend that was an issue.
Yeah,
people would put.
No, I had to do that. I had to do that years ago on my Facebook because
I apologize.
We got 50 people, robots probably in a row, trying to say, "Hey, you can buy Ray-Bans like the sunglasses for $10," and they kept posting it. And another thing would post it, and it was like 50 times in an hour.
And then one time on my Facebook,
Ray-Bans.
my little sister, this was like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
She sent me a message and she said, Matt, look at your Facebook. You need to stop this. And it was some girl showing her top.
Yeah.
And I was like, why are you showing this?
And then I tried to put a mermaid. I painted legitimately, and I get booted off Facebook.
I was like, why? So I had to change my Facebook settings.
Yeah. So there's a certain level of you have even a few people looking at you.
Wagner did do the Flight of the Valkyries.
He did, yes. No, he wrote some wonderful music.
It's beautiful.
Yes.
It's beautiful piece. Don't confuse the art with the artist.
Exactly. And don't confuse the artist with people who like their art. If somebody, Hitler, etc., likes your music, doesn't mean that your music has anything to do with that. Especially decades later after you're dead.
So you're saying vice versa?
Yes, exactly.
Right. So if Jasmine has a fantastic fan,
let's say
that might have different views than she does, it has nothing to do with their artistic fan or appreciator relationship.
Or like
in order to be a successful artist, you kind of have to separate that stuff, unless your platform is being political. If you're Bono,
well,
that's different.
Yeah, that's true. Or we're talking earlier, not David specifically, but people who do kind of political artwork or things that are commenting on political satire, stuff like that. That is your angle. That is you. You put that out there. If you're just painting, mermaids, that's not really political. Or like there was a what's his name? I can't remember his name. It's an artist friend of mine who had done some paintings, and it ended up that Saddam Hussein had collected a lot of his artwork. He didn't know this, but when they were on CNN and invading the palace, and there was a bunch of his paintings sitting around, he's like, that has nothing to do with me. I didn't know where the paintings went. You don't hold that against the person who did the artwork. That just no, that's just gross. I don't know what other word to use for that, but man,
that's fine.
I'm kind of drawing some little things that look like grapes and that kind of look like flowers on her little bodice here. I'm doing this with a mixture of Van Dyke Brown and Dioxazine Purple. And that will be the areas when I go over with the, when I get my smaller brush. This is the larger brush I use. It's a number 4 round. I will be making individual brush strokes on top of this that are lighter, like kind of a light navy blue, and that will make it look embroidered. It will look like little stitches. And I'll do that on the gold bit also. And I'll do this before I start working on the rest of her dress, so you can see what I'm talking about when I talk about doing fake embroidery on something.
Yeah, Steve says Giger had some unusual art, but he didn't seem jerky.
No, he's like he's an odd fellow, but no, he's somebody you could go to a pub with and not get in a fist fight. Yeah.
I couldn't imagine getting in a fist fight while the rest his soul, a Giger.
Yeah.
That'd be sad.
Well, you know what I mean. It's somebody you could spend time with without feeling like you want to get out of the room as fast as possible.
Now, there are certain, like somebody mentioned Hemingway. I could imagine getting in a drunk fight with Hemingway.
I don't think people could avoid getting in a drunk fight with Hemingway. Right. I don't know.
I thought writers have issues with
There were a lot of writers, really, that it's like, God, you're kind of a jerk. I wouldn't want to... You wouldn't make a crap boyfriend, but I mean...
More like stand-up comedians in their, I have to say what's on my
mind. Have to be edgy all the time. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing, too. It's, you can appreciate something that somebody made without liking the person. I mean, I think that happens probably quite a bit. And also, it's what is that person in relation to you? I could have somebody who's a cousin or an uncle or something like that, and you're like, oh, wow, you're kind of a jerk, but you're a great uncle. I just wouldn't want to be your girlfriend, if you put yourself in context to your relationship with that person as a consumer of their artwork or a fan of their artwork, or I love your music, or you work for me in this company, there are a lot of relationships you can have to put in context, and you're like, that's fine, but man, if you were my kid, I'd be really ashamed of you, but they're not your kids, so you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah.
And that's a complicated mess right there.
Apparently, Giger would have the same kind of kitty as a pet, and he'd give them all the same name.
Yeah, that's easier that way.
I've got 17 fish that all named Roger. I said, it's easier that way.
Yep. Oh, really?
Yep, I just said that in chat.
It's like Kodo and Poto, man.
Hey, speaking of Hemingway, he had some cool kitties.
He still has cool kitties.
Has anyone been down to
the Hemingway House in Key West?
Wow. And seen how many toes do those cats have?
Any number of them. Yeah, they have. They're the polydactyl cats, and that is why a lot
Layla.
Oh, night. A lot of the kitties that live in Florida have extra toes, and a lot of it is because of Hemingway's cats that kept breeding, and it became kind of a variant off of regular kitty cats that have a certain number of toes. And some of them almost have like 2 feet on each paw. They'll have like 8 toes on 1 foot and stuff. And for a long time, they've done a good job of it now. They spay and neuter the cats. Because for those who don't know, the Hemingway house, it's a neat house in Key West. And the cats kind of technically own the building because he willed it to them. So they always have to have the kitties there, which is kind of fun when you visit there and see kitties everywhere. But they've had to make it so only a certain amount of them are allowed to reproduce. Like, oh, we're going to have 1 litter of kittens every 5 years or something, to keep a certain number of cats who have to own the house, which would probably be like $20 million because it's a huge Victorian beautiful house in Key West. But so and they go outside, so they have to make sure that some of them, they have an on-site vet, and they've got to make sure that they are not having too many kitties. But for a while, like 20, 40, 50 years ago, they kept having babies with other Florida kitties, so there's a subset of Floridian cats that have like way too many toes for their feet because of his kitties.
Jasmine.
Yeah.
The absinthe spoon that's featured in this painting.
Yeah, we have that.
Do you think that you'll keep it silver or gold, or what would you like to do with that?
I'm going to make it silver. Part of the reason I'm doing that is because a lot of the other metallic aspects in this painting are gold. For example, since she has a gold bodice, I'm going to put gold embroidery like on the rest of her dress. And since I'm going to have this kind of, I think we drew this last time, it's kind of based off of the table that's in that painting of Louis XV's wife that she has there. And it's also kind of based, you know, the table that my dad has, Maddie? That's got like a lion in the corner?
Yes.
It's kind of based on that table too. But it's reflected. You know that table, yeah. It's a pretty cool table. But anyways, I'm making that gold. So I don't want to put too much gold in it. I want the silver to stand out. So I'm going to make that silver. And the spoon is based on a real absinthe spoon that we have. It's probably in the other room somewhere. But, is that the one we got in Paris, Mandy? Or is that the one I got a long time ago from Czechoslovakia?
I don't know. It's in the other room?
It's. I think it might be in Kansas City.
It might be in Kansas City.
I think it is, but we have an absinthe spoon of one sort or another in there. If you
probably.
If you want to go find it.
I need to use.
Or if you have to go to the bathroom, why don't you grab it? But I think this one specifically, when I drew it, was in Kansas City. But we have one in both of our main 5 houses. Yes, whatever. Yeah.
Well, I remember buying. I got one that was. I bought one on purpose in Paris.
In Paris, we went to the
absinthe. Beautiful.
What is the name of that?
And then we got one that was not as nice, and it came with some absinthe.
Yes, and that's the one I got from Czechoslovakia.
And then I made one that I can.
Oh, Maddie!
I could show.
You made it before we were even married.
It's a pathetic little spoon.
Jasmine made it back when
I can show that too.
We can show that. It is not fancy. Hey, you made it when he used to work as a dental technician before I even knew him. Okay, sounds good, baby. But yeah, I'll tell the story. Okay, Matt, before I knew Matt, he worked as a dental technician. Yeah, yes, it was around the time the song "The Perfect Drug" by 9 Inch Nails came out, and it had a lot of absinthe, sort of Edward Gorey imagery in it. But Matt took a regular spoon that we had, and he took it to the dental lab and drilled little holes in it because I had ordered some absinthe from Czechoslovakia. It's back when you couldn't order it in America because it was illegal, but now you can buy it at Disney World, so that shows you how people's ideas change about things. Anyways, he made one which is not very attractive. He's not an aesthetic person. He likes to write and talk. He's not so much into making pictures or... he does picture frames. Those are good, but drilling holes in a spoon apparently was not his thing. It's not very attractive. But if we have it here, and it's not in Kansas City, I'll show you. But we do have this one here that is a series of circles and rhombus sort of rectangles. This is a real spoon. It almost looks like something, we've even used it like at Thanksgiving in my mom's house or something to like serve pie with, because it looks like a pie wedge. But I think that one is probably in Kansas City because we had it when we had pie. But we do probably have the absinthe spoon. We were very poor. Yeah, it was like a spoon we got for $1 at Price Chopper, and Matt like took it to the dentist lab and like drilled holes in it with the dental stuff. We do have a regular absinthe spoon though too, if you can bring both. But I think the one this is based on is when I sketched it in Kansas City. So that's the one that we have that we used as a pie server when I made not Thanksgiving, Easter. It was something we had a pie at, and I brought it with it, and we used it as a pie server.
got it out ahead of time. I didn't even think
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. If I can't find it, I'll
Is it?
find my more
Yeah. I'm sure there's one in there. If it's not in there, it might be in the other drawer that has like serving spoons and like the big thing we cut pasta with. Okay. We don't usually like drink absinthe at home, so yeah, it sounds like you're looking through spoons. Yeah. But it's not something we use on a regular basis, thank goodness.
I just don't see it right now. I'm sure it's around.
Oh.
We'll show it next time.
Okay, we'll bring it. Our kitchen's kind of a mess right now.
That's just
our kitchen is also kind of in my studio. Our house is not really set up in different rooms the way a traditional house would be.
Little spoon I made is in
the dishwasher.
Yeah, you probably use it. You use it all.
I use it for just a regular spoon. Not the absinthe spoon. The one that Matt made at his dental lab, but
Oh, here it is.
Oh, you found it. The one you made, or the one that's from Paris, or is it the Czechoslovakian one in the picture?
No, the I made.
Oh, the one you made. This is not gonna have anything to do with the painting, really, but you can see a spoon with some holes in it. Yeah. There we go. Oh, look what Maddie made me. It was a spoon that had holes in it.
So
this is not the one that the painting is based off of. That's a fancy one that's from Czechoslovakia.
So
but yes, and I had not known Matt very long at that time, and he took one of the regular spoons. He took it to his dental lab and used whatever drills or tools that you usually use for working on, I don't know, fake teeth or whatever, and he used them on spoons.
Yeah.
Yay! So if you are traditionally drinking the absinthe, you put a sugar cube on there.
Yeah.
And then you drip water. You can either do it where you put cold water in the fountain, or you have absinthe in the fountain. You put it in cold water. You can do it either way. But you always have an interim layer where you have sugar, because nobody wants to drink that straight. I mean, maybe you would on a dare or something, but it's not good. You want to mix it with water and sugar and make it palatable. But no, if we broadcast from Kansas City, or I'll bring that spoon back and I'll show you guys one of these times. But I have this is actually a real spoon that I have. And some of the little things on it are diamonds, and some of them are little circles. So I'm going right now just looking to make sure I match it over, because I did the sketch, and when I put the kind of blue over the top and I put the green down at the bottom to blend with the water, I kind of covered up some parts of it. So I want to make sure that
people
those
like my
go
spoon.
through. Aww, that spoon's probably, I was going to say, we just had our 22nd anniversary, so it's probably over 20 years old, that spoon. Yeah.
I don't think it was really an ingenuity.
Yeah.
It's just what you do. It's like, hey, I saw the 9 Inch Nails video and I like absinthe and I want to try this. And I was like, well, there was not a single absinthe spoon probably in Kansas City.
No.
So,
yeah, there wouldn't have been. And again, you couldn't even buy absinthe then. No, you can get it at Disneyland, but you couldn't buy it in America then. Yeah.
I was a dental technician for years.
Yep. Before I knew him. Now he works for me and is a writer.
But I wasn't just hanging out in a dental lab.
No, they didn't like break in and use their tools.
Yeah, I worked in the metal department. Basically, if you get
when I met him, you worked there, and you also did the picture framing at a picture frame store.
Yeah,
and he said you were a tooth carver and a frame fitter or something like that, and that's what you had for your job description.
I always thought it was funny. That's what my friend Kane called me. He said, "You're a tooth carver," and I always thought that was funny.
There are some probably aesthetics for that do carry over into things like framing or doing physical sort of manual creation stuff.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Especially when you did a full metal crown and you had to make it what they call the anatomy look right in the top of the tooth.
Yeah.
So it looked like a big giant tooth made out of silver or gold. So I had a little lathe and I had tiny drills and I just kind of shaped things and after you cast them. It was cool. No, I didn't do anything with fillings. Fillings are something that happens in a doctor's office.
Yeah. Matt would do the things like at the laboratory.
Yeah, I would do porcelain crowns and porcelain fused to metal crowns, which are different.
Yeah. I don't
fillings
know. I've never even had a filling, so I'm not a person to ask about
fillings are things done in a doctor's office.
This is back when I would have still been in high school.
But some doctors that are fancy have their own dental lab inside their office.
Fancy.
Or they have really cool machines that create teeth on demand.
They're like
Mimi says, yes, you speak my nerdy language. Okay, Mimi, I could talk to you all day about that. I'm just kind of doing layman's terms now. We're not going to talk about margins. Yes, or... Yeah. Oh, the margin looks great on this. Or occlusion. Yeah, all that. That's a lot of fun, though.
Again, I've never even had a filling, so... My parents weren't the sort of people that take people to a dentist.
It's something that anyone can learn. It's not...
You could say that about a lot of it's a craft. It's not an art.
I would say it's definitely in the craft area. But there are some people that are much better at it than others. So that's just one thing I did. It happened to be close to my home.
Again, this is 20-odd years ago. Yeah, it was in walking distance to his house at the time.
So when my car wasn't working, which was often.
When I met him, his car didn't work.
Exactly.
Our first date, I had to pay for you to get your car fixed.
There you go. Hey, do you want to see me again? Let's get this thing fixed.
Yep.
So
also the second date I had to do that.
But
22 years ago.
That's how things work.
Yeah.
Get a job that's close to home if your car is a piece of crap.
Yeah,
that's my
true.
advice
When
to
I
you.
was the first job I ever had was, and all my sisters also, we all worked at Dairy Queen because that was like the only place we could walk to from our house, and we all worked at Dairy Queen from age 14 on, and we worked there until I started doing this, really, because you could walk there, and I didn't have a car. Actually, when you're 14 in Missouri, you can't drive a car until you're 16 by yourself. So if you're 14. You really weren't supposed to work either, but we were good workers, so they hired us.
Did you ever alginate your own teeth to cast vamp fangs? No, but some of the people in the office did. I'm surprised I didn't. But I did make a sculpture out of some teeth that I cast.
You made a wonderful sculpture that is actually kind of HR geekery.
It's very geekery.
Like it almost looked like the baby, like an eraser head, but it had big human teeth in it.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was pretty cool.
That was a lot of fun.
So you did use the lab for your own artistic purposes.
Yes, and then I would take I would take the teeth that were mistakes.
Oh.
They were porcelain fused to metal, so they
look like real teeth. But they're not.
I would drill holes in them, and I would hang them up on the Christmas tree.
Yeah. As opposed to our Christmas tree at my house when I was little. My dad would always put shell casings and bullets on dead skulls that we found, and so it was Christmas. It's like
Santa comes in, he's like, WTF.
It's like, I'm good at the next house, please.
Yeah, I don't want to eat these cookies.
Yeah, that's probably for the best. Again, I had a weird childhood. Okay, so I've taken the dark sort of areas that I've done on her. I don't know how good you can see, but like I've kind of drawn in the embroidery, so you can start to see that the parts on the edges are like a darker sort of gold, and the middle part is not lighter because there's a light on it. It's actually painted a bit lighter, and I have not put any sort of actual stitches on it yet, but I'm going to do a quick wash of gold over the whole thing, and then I'm going to start doing tiny little stitches, and I'm going to see if I can move my camera. I don't like moving it around a lot because if I do it wrong, then you're just going to look at the ceiling and I can't really see it. But I'm going to try to zoom it in a bit closer. I hope this works. Can you see the... I don't know.
Let me see. It'll take me a second.
Okay, I know it's on a bit of a delay. Can you see like her bodice there? Oh gosh, I've got paint all over me.
Yes, I can see it very well.
Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to start putting in tiny little stitches. And some of them are going to be gold. I'll do those first.
So you're basically creating a dress.
Yeah, and since I've made some areas just by doing the washes over the top and some of them are darker and some of them are lighter, I'm going to know automatically like here through the middle because it's closer to us. And some of those sort of flat, triangular sort of corsets, those will be tiny little stitches that are lighter in color. So I'm going to take some of my Naples yellow, which is kind of like the lightest white, kind of opaque yellow. And I'm going to mix that with the quinacridone nickel azo gold, which is the gold that I've been washing over that. And also put a bit of white in it. You can see that in my palette. A little bit more white. So I can always knock it down if it's too bright, or I can make it brighter if it's too dark later, because it's acrylics, and acrylics are awesome. So I'm going to make tiny little lines.
Thank you again for joining the pin tier, guys.
Oh, awesome. We got some more pin people.
Yes, we do.
Yes, and do we still have more of the... Because I'll tell people we're running out, but I think we should be good probably for at least the next day or two, depending on how many people join.
The
strawberry
from
cupcakes.
Now until we send out, yeah.
You think we're good? Okay, awesome. So if you are somebody who's not joined yet, you're in the lucky people who are going to get both the Patreon.
Yeah, I don't have the inventory right in front of me, but I think we'll be good.
Keeping numbers in your head.
I think we will be fine.
Awesome. If not, I'll send you mine.
We'll make sure you're taking care of
we will make sure that we have one for you. I'll steal one from Matt. We usually keep a few extras in case something terrible happens, but yeah.
Something terrible
has happened. Now, I'm making these lines. I don't know. Is that showing up good on the TV, though?
I think so.
Okay. It almost looks like it's Morse code. It's kind of dot, dot, dash, dash. And I'm just doing the lines to make it look as if it were embroidered. That's how the fabric would look. I'm doing very quickly. This is one of my favorite, my Royal Soft Grip SG595 size 0 brushes.
Jasmine, how's your screen looking?
Huh?
Mine just said reload.
I can't see my screen really, honey, but I can tell that part of the room is lit up, so I think it's still going.
How's your Twitch looking?
That's what I mean, baby. I can't really see the screen from
I'll come
here.
look at it.
But it I can tell it was bad before because the whole part of that side of my face is black. I can't unless I lean over. I can go look at it, but I can't usually see the screen from where I'm sitting.
It looks good.
Does it look okay?
Yeah, I just saw it pop up. I wanted to make sure.
Okay.
I'm a bit paranoid.
Yeah, we've never had that happen before like it did earlier, but I'm keeping this very horizontal. It's like if I was painting it on not a piece of graph paper, but if it was a grid of some sort. I'm kind of keeping like a horizontal line going because if you're going to embroider something, I know we were talking about tapestries earlier, I'm doing the lighter parts of the background gold color. And this will be the lightest color of the gold I use. I could do completely solid, but then it wouldn't look like individual stitches, or I could do complete lines, but then it would look like it was machine done, and I want it to look like it was made in the Baroque sort of Rococo era, so like it would have been hand done by people at some point. So I'm using the same color on these. Like I said, I can brighten up some of them and knock down some of them if I want them to be darker. But this panel, when you have that sort of bodice or panel that's probably got whale bones and steel and it's like a flat piece of cardboard smushing in on one side and smushing in the other side, it's going to be very horizontally looking.
Yeah, Princess Bullet asked if the moths and the voodoo pins are going to be sent together. I said yes, otherwise shipping costs would kill us.
Yeah, and that comes out of my own pocket. So if I do it as 2 separate shipments, I think I figured out it was $3,000 more to send them separately, like real money. It's like
stamps.com.
I need that money for groceries. Yeah. I am not a company. I have a company, but that is not my company that does it. That is me who sends those. So that is, I'm going to send them together. I could like have a whole house or like a new car or something for that. So yeah, those are going together. Whenever we ship things together, that is why, because otherwise if we did that, it's not for you, it's for the hundreds or thousands of other people at the same time. So that's why we do it.
Except for like, gosh, I think it was a couple months ago, there were some that are slow. I can't believe the success rate of the post office. I can't believe for all.
Oh, you mean they're good at sending? Yes. You know what? They're not very good at updating their tracking on their website. But they are very good at getting it there. As far as countries go, the U.S. is awesome with our post office.
Right. Sometimes they'll be a day behind when the people scan it in at the post office, but it doesn't show up.
I buy stuff. It's like I buy something and I already got it delivered and I track it and it says it's still in like Georgia and I'm like, I already have it in my house. How is it still in Georgia?
I think that's slowly getting better though.
I don't know. I think in some ways it's gotten worse because I think they're trying to compete with Amazon, so they act like they have to do it faster. So the people who deliver stuff don't bother to scan it, or I don't know.
A couple months ago, I got kind of got a look and a big sigh when I came into the post office.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's true. We are not a big company. We literally take these things to the post office, so they don't like to see us coming because they're like, there's somebody sending their postcard from Disney World. Oh wait, here's Matt with 1.2 thousand things he has to send out. It's
sweet lady we've been bringing in lately has been like setting aside like little place for us.
Yeah.
And in these tubs.
Yeah.
So I think she scans them all singly by hand.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of work for her.
It is. And you probably, people who do things, let's say you're one of the people who are there who do pin trading, you're like, oh wow, I had to do 12 packages. And it's like, times that by like 1,000. And that's like what Matt does. Think about it, literally doing it for 10 days straight without even going to sleep hardly. It is massively crazy.
It's a lot of work, but you guys are awesome.
You guys are awesome, and that's a good thing. That is good for everybody involved. And as much as the post office people might roll their eyes at us, that is good for them. That is something that keeps the post office still going and stuff like that. The physical things being sent through the mail. They used to have letters and stuff when people had before email, and now they get packages. And it's not packages that have been hijacked by Amazon. They're actually ones we're sending in person at the post office.
Kelly said they should have a Matthew Beckett line in the post office. You know what?
Yeah.
We thank goodness for something like Stamps.com. Because they used to make every single label by hand years ago.
Yes. And think about doing that with 800 people one day and 950 people the next day. Think about doing that with somebody behind you in line. It's not even the, hey, 10 items or less. It's like, here's 1,000 things. Here's 1,400 things. And it's hard to put that into perspective unless you really think about, oh, this is how long it takes to put things in, print out a label, put it in a box, wrap it up, put bubble wrap it up. Do that 100 times. Do it 1,000 times. Do that every day. And it just gets kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But it's good. That is, and that, that's what keeps the machine running, keeps the world going around. That's why the post office is still around and stuff like that. Otherwise, email would have gotten rid of it, and Amazon would have gotten rid of it.
Nikki says that bodice looks flipping amazing.
So far, so good. Yeah, I'm digging this. Hopefully that's showing up pretty good. I'll put a little close up. Yay.
Our Twitch is stable now.
Yeah, I know. I'd feel bad if either way, I'm going to be painting, so it doesn't matter that much. But as far as people looking at it, so you can see now, these are just the gold threads, and you can see some of them I've made it does look like Morse code. It's a little dot, dot, dash, 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 dot. If I was clever, I would make like a secret message in there. Sometimes I do things like that in my paintings, but not in this one so far. Kind of, maybe, I promise. But what I'm going to do after this is do a slightly darker version of it that is on the sides. Because that is obviously the big main diagonal that's going to go through there is going to be the brightest part of the gold. Because I want it to look like actual gold thread.
You ever see the movie Wanted, Jasmine?
I think so.
There has Morgan Freeman.
Is it a Western?
No.
Oh. Probably not.
Morgan Freeman,
no.
Angelina Jolie, and James McAvoy in it. And
no, you saw that without me and you told me about it.
Oh, yeah. There is a giant tapestry.
Oh, that's
cool. And it's being printed on this big loom.
Printed?
Mm-hmm.
Or woven?
Or woven.
Because we were talking about the difference between printed tapestries and woven. You literally were just talking about
it's being put together on this big
woven.
Loom mechanically. And there are people there, Morgan Freeman, to be specific, this character, who look at the loom and they can see inconsistencies in it, and it tells them to assassinate someone.
Oh.
And it's kind of a cool movie. It's kind of like a cross between, I don't know, Fight Club and kind of like a superhero movie.
You compared it to Fight Club after you saw it. I remember.
Yes.
You said that to me. You're like, it was kind of like Fight Club. And I'm like, and I was like, was it like Fight Club like this? And you're like, no. And I was like, was it like this? And you're like, no.
It's hard to explain, but that's a good movie.
Is it really instructions to him in the tapestry, or is he just crazy and he's seeing patterns in something that doesn't exist?
They're not crazy. There are specific instructions.
Not like Henry Mullins, like killing people to stop earthquakes from happening.
Yes, it's supposed to be for like the greater good.
It is like Henry Mullins. Okay.
Yeah, it's just like Henry Rollins.
Mullen.
Oh.
He's a serial killer who was murdering people in California so that earthquakes wouldn't happen.
It's more like Henry Rollins.
Okay, Henry Rollins is all right, but I don't think he's killed anybody. Yeah.
No,
I might
no
have
one's
done,
crazy
no judgment, but yeah. Huh?
Oh, thank you so much, Jean, for the bits.
So they use that. Oh, thank you very much for the magic.
Yes, basically somebody. It's a
way to send a like a secret code to somebody.
Yes.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
And Angelina Jolie and James McAvoy and all these other guys are kind of in a less stylized, more realistic way, kind of have some Matrix abilities.
Okay.
Like people in Matrix, but
I think everything is less stylized than the Matrix, but
exactly. So it's better, and the dialogue's a lot better, a bit more believable.
Yeah, gotcha.
They can shoot people around. They can make bullets instead of going in a straight line.
Are they magic or something?
Kind of.
Okay.
They're just ultra skilled.
Oh, okay, so they're just like really good at martial arts,
right? And they can bend the trajectory of a bullet. So let's say I wanted to shoot someone on the other side.
They can do that if you concentrate. Yeah, I got you.
They can do that. They can make the bullet go around the corner.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Grin Girl says it's a good movie.
Okay,
it's a good movie.
I've not seen that one. That's when you saw it at the theater, I think, when I was not there. And you told me
funny.
about it later.
It's a big.
I think didn't my mom like it? Was that when you and my mom talked about it on
I
Facebook?
See your mom liking it. Who really liked it was your cousin Daniel.
Oh, yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. It was one of my family members that year.
Yeah.
God, my apron is like not put together right today. I think the armholes are too big. Anyways, I've taken that same kind of yellow and white, and I've mixed more of the quinacridone nickel azo gold and put a bit of Van Dyke brown in it. So now, when I'm doing the little sideways stitches on here, I'll show you close up. The ones I'm doing now are darker. So you see the ones there are kind of like a yellow white. These ones are kind of a more brown, gold, yellow, more saturated color. And that's going to make it look like that part is darker. And since the actual fabric that I did when I did the kind of wash of the golden brown on the outside, underneath it, that in itself will start making it look more three-dimensional. But when I start doing the navy black and blue on top of it, that's going to look super sharp. And I don't have to be real specific with this. If I do it even more loosely, it will look more painterly, and it will look more like something does in real life. Because if you see a painting and everything is perfectly in focus, that's not how you see stuff in real life. You see the part right at the apex of your cornea, you see things in perfect focus. But on the edges, things get a bit blurry, or there's a bit of movement, and that makes it more alive than in kind of instead of a weird sort of photorealistic thing that's happening. So I like to put a bit more painterly things off to the side as opposed to the main focus. What's that?
Painterly.
Painterly is a good word. We don't really have a word other than painterly in English. There's a German word called malerisch, and that means it's painterly. It's something that's slightly more abstract. It's blurred around the edges. Like, that's very malerisch, and it's like, oh yeah, it is. Look at it all painterly. So I'm gonna get my hairdryer out right quick. Sorry if it's noisy. Yeah, before I do the darker parts of the embroidery, I'm going to put another layer of brown to try to reinforce the idea that some parts of these are lighter stitches and some are darker. And I'm just going to get some water from the bottom of my palette and over from my paint cup here. And I'll mix it a little bit with the gold, but mostly it's going to be Van Dyke brown because I don't want to make it too yellow, because since part of the dark parts of the embroidery I want it to be more of a navy blue. If I make it too yellow, I don't want it to look like it's green. If you put blue on top of yellow and it's too yellow, it's gonna look green. So I'm gonna take that brown and just smudge it around the sides. Yeah.
What is the most frustrating / difficult painting that you feel that you've done?
Frustrating / difficult. It would probably be one that I have done as a commission piece or a commercial illustration.
Oh,
one of my favorite pictures, but there was one that was some I'm not going to get into. I wasn't going to talk about that one, but yeah, so I had to do a bunch of concept art for backgrounds for a world building Bible many years ago for a film that never happened, and they had me paint everything.
Explain how you can make money off this in a way.
Well,
to your artist friends,
they paid me per illustration, and I was like, I don't think this movie is going to happen, and why are you hiring me to paint a picture of a fire escape? Anybody could paint a fire escape. Why are you hiring me? It's not a big-eyed girl character. But they're like, no, we'll just pay you your usual rate. And I'm like, all I have to do is paint a fire escape. I did maybe 70 paintings for them for this project. That never even happened. But they paid me for each painting. And then if the movie had happened, I would have got money. But I still got paid either way. So yeah, I had to paint a fire escape. And I was like, this is so boring. It's like every day. Usually I wake up, I'm excited because I'm like, oh, this is fun. It's something I'm kind of interested in. And it's like, no. I also had to paint a school bus. And I was like, why can't you just use a photo of a school or have somebody who paints automobiles? But I've had a few things like that are just so tedious. It's just like, why are you doing this? I know I'm making money, but why ask me to do this? Like, we're gonna
get options.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, hey, Elton John, will you sing one word for a McDonald's ad? It's like, why not hire anybody to do it? Why hire me? You just want to spend $1 million? Why do this? But I don't know.
T. Lowry.
Oh, excellent. And this is for the
This is for the book.
This is for the book. For Can you pop it over real quick? Because I want to show that off too. And Maddie will sign the book too.
Yep,
other than that, there are paintings that some of my favorite paintings have ended up being my most the most headachy. But here's the book that T. Lowry has won. Forever Strange, my new fancy art book. It is finally in stock at Amazon too. For those of you who are looking for it cheaper, previously it was not there because it came out in Australia first because the publishers are Australian. T. Lowry gets it for free, yes. But oh, this is a pretty great book. I don't know how good you can see it on here, but it's a huge, long, wonderful book with literally hundreds of my paintings. And it has poetry and short stories that are written by my sisters, Amber Logan, Katrina Micheletto, and also my husband, Matthew David Beckett. So since this is here in my hands, I will sign the book for you, and Matt will sign it too because he wrote one of the stories in there. Yeah. But these are available up at strangeling.com if you want an autographed one. Again, I talk about each one in the back. Every of the 200 odd paintings in here, I talk about everyone. And there are the stories and the poems and things that go with them. You can get them pretty much everywhere. Search the words Forever Strange and you'll find it. As far as paintings I like that actually look like something I would paint and isn't like the... Oh god, yeah, one of them was like, I had to paint the back side of a convenience store. That was so boring. Not like actually a picture of one, an imaginary one. And I was like, why are you having me? And they're like, we want to make sure the artwork looks the same from all the characters. And I'm like, well, it's not going to matter, but I paint the picture of the convenience store. You just hire somebody who paints buildings or pictures of things. Why are you paying me? Thank you for the money, but why am I doing this? But things I actually like, one of my favorite paintings I've done for Disney was for Lucasfilm, Ray and BB-8, which is a very fun painting. But it took 13 months for me to paint because I had to get approvals at different times. I originally painted it in the forest, like in Puzzlewood Forest in England. So I had like photos and it's like, this is where it's really filmed. I'm being really authentic about this. And they're like, no, she's wearing her desert outfit. She should be in the desert. So I like had to, instead of having my meticulously personally researched background of Puzzlewood Forest where the movie was actually filmed, I had to change it and paint over everything and make it a desert. And that was...
Thanks again,
it makes sense,
for joining the pin group. We're
more pin people. Okay, excellent. Yay, thanks guys. Well, once you get up in the pin group, all of a sudden you'll be like, oh my gosh, this is what Jasmine has been blathering on forever. Yes, now I get it.
But, Jasmine will probably send her welcome letters tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I'll probably be tomorrow because I'm going to be working on this probably till pretty late tonight. So me and Matt
thanks again, and we'll get to you, and you guys will get your strawberry.
We will send you links about all the other Patreon stuff. If you're somebody signed up at the pin level, you get a lot of goodies. Actually, you should be up there now looking at all your coloring pages and stuff. You will scroll through and you can see everything I posted for a couple of years now.
Yeah, you can at least look at it now.
Yeah, you can probably see some secret stuff that the public doesn't know about that I can't even talk about here. You can probably see it up at Patreon. But I love the painting of Ray and BB-8, and Disney was right in the end to tell me that because I think it made for a much better painting. Because otherwise, I bet a lot of Star Wars fans would be like, how come Rey's wearing her desert outfit when she's in the forest? And like, yeah, that's a good point.
I like how you said that, Jasmine.
Isn't that how somebody would ask me? But yeah, okay. But yeah, so that they were right to say that, and I'm kind of proud of Disney in a way for being like, hey, this is our character, this is what she wears here. They had me change her hand 5 or 6 times to make sure like she was more not violently, but with more confidence holding the staff. Before I had her hand kind of leaning against the staff like she was posing with it. They're like, no, we want her to look like she's going to pick up that staff and hit somebody with it. I'm like, okay, I can dig that. And so I had to redo the hand a few times. But I wouldn't say those are frustrating, but those are ones that take a lot more effort. And I'm talking to somebody else about it. So it is their property, it's their character. So I've got to listen to them. And in the end, I think they definitely made the right decision. But that's something that takes a lot more work than me making up. I'm like, should I make that gold or should I make that blue? Because it's me making this one up. It's not an existing property that belongs to a different company. So things like this in a way are kind of more artistic, but the others are more of a challenge. But sometimes the challenge is good, and it does make me think about things like, oh, why would she be wearing a chainmail bikini when there's snow outside? That probably wouldn't happen, that sort of thing. So that does kind of make you re-examine why you're doing something. So I've taken some of that Van Dyke brown. I'm also putting a bit of Dioxazine purple. Hold on a second. You wouldn't think I'd put purple in it, but if you put purple next to on top of rather gold, it doesn't make it look purple. It makes it kind of look the dark part of gold. Like if you're looking at a gold ring, if you actually look at something that is gold, I don't know if I have anything physically gold around me. Where is it? The end of this paintbrush kind of is. If you look at it, it's like, yeah, you think it's yellow, but really the middle part is going to be like a dark brownish green line. And then the end's kind of white. And then the other part's going to be whatever it's next to. If it was right by a red poppy, it would look red. So when you're painting something metallic, you're going to have colors you might not expect to be in there
Jasmine,
to create that sort of reflective look. Yeah.
Are you having any issues with your Haunted Mansion 50th anniversary submittal?
Nope, I just got it. I don't know if you were listening earlier, but I just got the thumbs up for Madame Leota. So that is a go. That is one thing I'll be working on probably tomorrow. It's not one I can work on online or here on Twitch because that's for a Disney project and they have to approve it before I can show it to anybody. But that is Madame Leota, and she got official thumbs up approval on my visual concept, and they approved my palette and everything. So that is in the works, and I will be there in California in August for whatever event they are doing for the Haunted Mansion 50th. And my Madame Leota will be too. I don't know if they're going to just have her as artwork or if it's going to be like t-shirts and coffee cups. I probably won't know until I actually get there, because I find out when you guys do. I just do the painting, I mail it literally to Disney and they put it on stuff. But I am so excited about that. I have wanted to paint Madame Leota forever. For those who don't know, she's a harder one to be doing work for Disney to get it approved, because her daughter, Madame Leota was a real person, Leota Toon. Was an Imagineer for Disney, one of the first female Imagineers, and her daughter was an Imagineer, and now her daughter is an art director for Disneyland California. So that's her mom. So basically, if people are painting things with Madame Leota, she gives a thumbs up like, hey, that looks like my mom, or no, my mom wouldn't do that, So that's an official sort of thing.
It's kind of like getting a Tim Burton approval.
It is like getting Tim Burton approval. So those also take a while, but
and also Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, and also Haunted Mansion. Yeah, it's all one.
Sometimes
it's all one big sort of group of people in it. But so it has been approved, and that made me very happy because that means her family approved it and Disney approved it, and now I get to paint Madame Leota. And I'm painting her in the seance room. I can't show you the visual concept for it,
Jasmine,
but she'll be in the seance room, like in the crystal ball, and it should be awesome. Yeah.
Figure wants to know: will Madame Leota be a Disneyland exclusive? Or will we be able to get her at Wonderground Gallery here?
I honestly don't know anything about it except I get to paint her. After that, I don't know if it's something that Disney's going to make canvases out of, or if it's like only going to be on one t-shirt one day in Disneyland, or if they're going to put it on stickers. I don't really know.
Yeah, I'm not sure which... It might be like merchandise.
It might be. I don't know. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't know if I haven't gotten the contract. I've gotten the approval. The contract will say if it's from Disney Parks merchandise, or if it's Disney Fine Art or Disney Gallery or Wonderground or whatever. I have not gotten that paperwork yet, so I don't know. But I would guess it would probably be something that'd be a Wonderground like in Florida and in California, but since it is an anniversary product, kind of like how my Jack and Sally was for the 25th anniversary of Night Before Christmas. This is for the 50th anniversary of the Haunted Mansion, but it's for the one in Disneyland, because that was built years before the one here in Florida. It isn't the 50th anniversary of our Haunted Mansion in Florida here. So I don't know if they would have that there, but the elements in the painting I am using of Madame Leota in the seance room are all things that are in the Haunted Mansion at both parks.
Okay.
So from Disney's point of view, I don't get to say it, I just paint the pictures, but people could say, hey, that's our Haunted Mansion, that's Disney's Haunted Mansion. It doesn't show the outside of the building, so it's not like, hey, that's the kind of Nouveau Victorian one that's in Florida, as opposed to, that's the New Orleans Square one that's in New Orleans and in Disneyland, because when Disneyland, it takes place in Louisiana, because it's New Orleans Square, and the one here in America, or in Florida, is in the American Liberty Square area, so that's slightly different. But
gosh, thanks again, pin people. More pin people.
Yes.
On board.
And again, I'll tell you guys if we run out of these when we're online. This is when I get my QVC moment. We still have these available. So for those of you who are joining, we do still have these, and this will be a way you get an extra strawberry cupcakes one. I always want to color strawberry shortcakes.
That one will be available for a few more days.
What's that?
in essence, it will be available.
I hope so. It depends how. Again, I can't see my computer, so I don't know how quickly people are like signing up. Like if a million people signed up, obviously only a handful are going to get these.
Sign up, we've got all sorts of problems.
Yeah, that's when you stop having 1,000 packages at the post office and start having 200,000 or 1.5 million packages, and then it's like, wow, we need to. Then
I'm a manager.
Then it's like, yeah, I need to like hire a factory or something.
Yeah, something.
Or outsource this to, I don't know.
Well,
Kansas.
We'd stay in control of it.
What's that?
We'd stay in control, like Kansas.
Like I do. Yeah, that's. I mean, I talk about my Kansas shipping center like it's a giant factory, but it's like everybody who works there is a family member of mine, so it's not like outsourcing really.
Basically,
my sister, her husband, my mom. Yeah. Okay, so I've kind of gone over that again. I'll show this a bit closer. So now you can probably see it's starting to look even more three-dimensional. And you can still see the individual sort of stitches on the gold bits there, right? Now the parts that are black, right now they kind of look like shadows, like it was like I don't know, like it was carved into it or something. It's not going to look like that because I'm going to go over that black. When you have black thread, let's say you have like a embroidered patch or like a sweater or something that's like fabric that is black thread or black wool or something like that. When it is in the shadows, because it's a piece of thread that's kind of wrapped around, the edges are going to be darker, but the part that's being hit by the light is going to go one of two ways. Some types of socks, for example, if you get bleach on them, they're going to look kind of blue, which means it's kind of a blue-based black dye, kind of like hair dye. I kind of use a blue one and red at the bottom. But some types of them will look kind of brownish red, and that's a different sort of dye. Since I'm using gold on here, I'm going to go with the complementary color. I'm going to go with blue. So I'm going to start doing the same thing I did with the gold stitches, but with dark blue only on the light part areas of the embroidery. And that will make it look really more like a piece of cloth than it will look like a bunch of paint on a piece of wood from Home Depot, which is technically what it is. So I'm going to get, there's a color called Payne's Gray, which is not technically blue, but you know, it kind of looks like blue to me. I don't know why it's called gray, but I guess it's the closest thing. It is very much a cool
Jasmine.
Dark neutral. I'm going to use that for the basis of a navy blue. Yeah.
Do you have any art at Disneyland Paris? Katisha's going in a couple weeks.
You know, I have before. They do not have any official Disney galleries at Disneyland Paris. They only have those in the States. But sometimes the shops that are at their downtown Disney there, particularly around, like, there's a restaurant there, the German restaurant, King Ludwig's Castle, that's in the downtown Disney area before you go into the parks. They have had statues of mine there. Sometimes they've had postcards. It seems random. But that is not part of Disney Fine Art. Disney Fine Art does not sell at the international places. They just don't have an outlet for them. So take a peek. In fact, if they've opened one up, you might find out before I do. But go look around where the German Castle restaurant is in downtown Disney. That's probably your best bet. Because I've been there in person. I've seen my own artwork there. I was like, oh, okay, you guys are just retailers for third-party stuff. That's cool. But Disneyland Paris is lovely. It's amazing. A beautiful park. I love it. It's close. It's close, but I mean, it is close compared to some things. Like when we're in London, we just take the Eurostar, the tube that goes from London to Paris to Marne-la-Vallée, and you can totally just take the train from London to Paris. It takes like an hour and a half. It's amazing, and then you're in Disneyland Paris. Yeah.
When you paint for Disney, do they request a hidden Mickey?
They do. They've never asked me. They've never asked me to paint a hidden Mickey. They've never told me not to. And I put some in some of my paintings. I don't like necessarily. Sometimes if you're in person, if we're at the parks and you're like in line, I'm like, hey, look, there's one there. But it's not something I'd put on the internet, really, because I think it's more fun to discover it in real life.
Okie doke.
But they've never specifically asked me, but I have put them in some of my paintings. They certainly haven't told me not to.
Steve says he won a trip to Disneyland for his Hatbox Ghost costume for a Halloween party at the Winchester Mystery House last Halloween.
My gosh, that's like the coolest sentence I've ever heard. Yeah, Winchester Mystery House and Hatbox Ghost, and you won a trip to Disneyland for that.
Yeah,
that
we still need to go there. Winchester.
Wow, my grandma's always telling me that. She's like, you need to go there. You're always in California.
They found a whole other hidden room in there.
I remember reading about that like maybe a year or two ago.
Yeah.
Yes, and it had like a weird doll and like a rocking horse in it. It looked like some American Horror Story thing, and it was, yeah. That's bizarre. But yeah, I have not been there yet.
Bob's asks if any chance you guys will be involved in the new Star Wars Galaxy's Edge opening this fall.
Probably not for the opening. They might have some of my existing artwork maybe on the merchandise that is there.
That would be great.
I don't have anything planned like new products because I'm working on other Disney stuff right now. Again, mostly anniversary stuff for different rides and things that are coming up. But it might be something after it opens up and they are looking for merchandising. I might be through that. But you might see my existing like Ray and BB-8 and Princess Leia as I've done for Disney, etc. But I am very excited for that to open up. It's going to open up in California this summer first, so we might end up seeing it. Me and Maddie, even though we live in Florida, we might see it first when we're in, or at least I don't know Matt's coming, but we'll all be there for sure in August.
I think I will be for that.
You think so? Okay, we'll see what's happening. But I will be doing the Haunted Mansion thing in August, and I think that's by then the Disneyland California Galaxy's Edge will have opened. I'm not 100% sure, but I was looking at some of the dining options that are popping up because I'm always pseudo involved with the vegetarian options at the parks and stuff like that. So I've been keeping tabs on that, and they're going to have like the Impossible Foods Company that makes Impossible Burgers, etc. They are making like special keftas and things that are Impossible Foods based that are vegan options that will be inside Galaxy's Edge in California. And I'm hoping they're going to do that in Florida too. We shall see. And you know how you see Luke with like the blue milk and stuff? They're totally going to have like a vegan version of that, which is pretty. They totally are.
So weird.
Yeah. And they're going to have the cantina there in California at least. That is the first place at Disneyland in California that you can actually get liquor because it's a cantina in Disneyland Park, other than Club 33, which I haven't been to. Maybe some of you guys have because you're awesome, but I haven't been there. And that's been there for many years, but only for fancy people who have like hundreds of thousands of dollars to spend on it, but which is cool. That's a good way to spend your money, but I have not been there. But the cantina at Galaxy's Edge and the Star Wars area at Disneyland will have a cantina, and you can get probably very exciting looking cocktails that have, big blocks of neat ice and light up effects and dry ice to make it all smoky and make it look all spacified.
I've got the cantina song from the
Here, I'll show this up close a bit. It might look very blue right now because I haven't really modulated it in between the dark blue and the light blue, but you can see how that's starting to look more like individual stitches. Can you see that in the screen, love? Am I holding it up good? So those areas that were black before look kind of blue, and I'll be making them a bit darker on the edges, but they look like somebody actually sat there with like a needle and thread and did like like you have in Unearthed People out there. It looks like you did a cross stitch almost. It's like those are individual little things. And this is a funny thing that, again, much like painting grass we talked about last time, people were like, how do you make it look like the cloth is actually embroidered? And it's like, you do that by painting every little stitch so it looks like cloth. It's not really a trick. It just takes some doing.
It's much like the blades of grass.
That's what I just said.
Yep. That's how things work.
You make it look like it took a long time, but taking a long time. I am, as I get off to the sides here, I'm doing it a lot lighter, so in that fact makes it darker, and a lot looser. So over like by the area where her bodice is turning into like her like elbow pit there, like before it's her skirt, I am kind of doing it more softer, and that in a way makes it look like it's further away. Like you see this part here looks a lot more vibrant, a lot more dark. Even though this is literally the same piece of wood half an inch away, this suddenly looks like it's going into a dark corner, doesn't it? Even if it wasn't painted darker, it would, because it's softer, it's smoother, and the colors are less, there's less of a contrast between the two. I kind of smudged it around. In fact, if it wasn't smudgy enough, when it was still wet, I'd go a little bit and kind of smudge it around. Because if you're looking at something in real life and it's like, let's say it was a black and white checkerboard and it was wrapped around like a column or a sphere or something like that, off the edge it starts to blur. You don't see perfect lines. That's what stops it from looking like a computer generated graphic, and actually looks kind of like real life and kind of like a painting. Do a little bit more. The problem is my brush has gotten... That's the problem with these brushes. I have to turn this into a fuzzy brush. Yeah.
Gonna be kitty time.
Oh, golly! I don't even know what kitties are around.
Do you want me to fetch?
No, I will grab one because I want to get a drink real quick. But I think kitty Is there a preference?
Which kitty would you guys want to see? They're gonna say the beast.
I don't see that. Rio. Rio seems.
I see some.
I see Sunshine and
Camera.
Miami. On cam.
No one said a name yet.
Oh, okay.
Whatever one she can get.
I like Sunshine.
Oh, Ren Girl said Rio. We can't find Rio.
Rio's upstairs.
Oh, Rio's probably
She's not
upstairs.
missing. She's hiding.
Get the one from the backyard.
Oh, that silver one?
The silver one or the black one? Oh, didn't even think about that. Yeah, I was looking at your stitching. I was gonna hit eyes. Oh, we got Sunshine.
Oh, she's asleep. Oh.
Somebody said Sunshine.
Like
Liz
a
wanted
little dead
Sunshine.
kitty. Oh, look at my floppy little dead Sunshine.
Aww.
Baby girl, who's my own little love? Who's my own baby? Who's my little
She
love?
does look sleepy.
That's what I mean. She's sleepy. She doesn't. She's like, who are you? What's happening?
What's
What are these
going on?
lights? These bright lights in my face.
Oh, you had a kitty named Toffee, didn't you, Jasmine?
I had a kitty named Taffy.
Taffy, that's what it was. Darn it.
Yeah, we called her Toffee Face sometimes, like the candy, which I've
Ooh,
never had.
that's yummy.
Ow, ow, ow. Oh, there you go. Yeah, Sunshine likes to stand up there. I'll scoot my chair down. Can you see her when she's on the back of my chair?
Let's probably.
Fine, diddle dime, finds to the dime.
Yeah, I think we'd be able to see her. Gotta catch up. Yep.
Oh, there we go, baby girl.
See that
She likes
horrible face.
a lot of the day, actually, when we don't have all the lights out for Twitch, she likes to sit up behind me, so. Oh, baby, don't you go over there. You're gonna drink my paint water? Oh, people. Ow. God, dang it. I can tell I'm just covered with cuts and horrible things from these awful cats.
Yeah, all of our cats have claws,
Jeez.
yes.
Yeah, they have claws, and we can't even trim their claws.
Yeah, they don't let us.
We have 3 cats, 3 of our rescue indoor cats.
And,
you
can
can't
give us
trim
all
any of
suggestions.
their claws.
We've tried everything.
I've tried buying the things
We
that
have
are
fancy-
that look like straight
Well,
jackets for kitties.
It doesn't work.
No, not even close. But anyways, I will let this dry, and I wanted to start off and show you guys, especially if a bunch of you guys just joined Patreon. I'm going to show you what our giveaway at Patreon is going to be. But you can see now. I'll try to zoom in as much as possible. Is that getting a glare, love, or can you see that?
I can see it. I can see it.
Can you see like the blue stitches a bit more?
Yes.
Now I will go over with another layer of Van Dyke brown and Dr. Purple on the sides, and then I'll do a couple, maybe 3 or 4 dots on like the lightest part of the blue. But that's a good example of how I make something embroidered look embroidered. And that is one of the questions I've gotten more than anything else. Other than how do you paint eyes or where do you get your ideas? It's how do you make fabric look like fabric? And basically make it look like fabric by pretending you're doing a cross stitch. And kind of just put on there. So here is a sketch. I don't usually do pencil, but I literally drew this with this wonderful pencil. Look at this fancy pencil. It's covered with paint and duct tape, but I use it when I've got to pen something with a pencil. But this is going to be a tiny, tiny painting. The reason I did it in pencil is because I was looking at one of my other pictures. Which one was it? I think it was on in a book. Oh, in my my tarot cards. Alice's advice. It was loosely based on her, so I just like opened up. And, you know, it's an oracle deck. I randomly picked one out. It was Alice's advice. I'm like, okay, I'll just kind of draw that face. And I'm going to go over it with my paints now. And this is going to be a painting. But I'm not going to put a whole lot. I'm not going to put colors in it yet. I'm just going to start outlining the eyes, etc. And probably do some shading on the face. And this will be a painting. We literally give away the original painting. And if we saw that frame earlier that we had, it will be framed. And we will give it away randomly to surprise somebody. Again, it's not a raffle. Patreon does not have raffles because for some reason on Patreon that's considered gambling. It's not like Twitch where we actually have software for it, but we do random number generator on Patreon. Even if you're a $1 person, doesn't matter if you're a $500 person or a $1 person, does not matter. We will be giving this away, and whoever wins it, and we'll probably do this maybe in a week. I don't know.
And here's the link again for Patreon.
Yeah, again, it is $1, but it's $1. It's literally $1. Or you can put $500. I won't tell anybody.
And
but,
then
yes, and then whoever wins, I won't. I keep that private. There are some people who don't even want their name on Patreon, and they just do it through PayPal. Or there are some celebrities up there, and I'll just leave that to your imagination because it probably is way more impressive than you're thinking. Okay, so the person who wins will get to tell me how to finish the painting. Much like we've done with the ones we've actually sold on here. Again, we're not bidding here. Don't say $2,000 here, Twitch. We're not selling this one. This is for free. We're giving it away at Patreon. So whoever ends up winning it will get to say, hey, I would like you to make her look like me, but I want her to have green skin and purple eyes, and I want my dog in there and also my company's logo. You know, you can do whatever you want with this. It's not a big painting. It's like 3.5 inches by 2.5 inches or something like that. But she'll be framed in a beautiful Rococo frame, and I will finish her to whoever you like. But I'm going to just start working on her now. But this is a good example when you're talking about pencils. I don't usually use pencils. I would only do it on something like this that I did this, maybe 5 minutes before we started Twitch.
Yes.
That's why we're probably like 1.5 minutes late today on Twitch, is because I was like, hey, let me grab something, sketch it real quick. I don't even have my brushes out, but I will do this. And it's just kind of a generic-based character. Not generic, it just has that sort of, hey, it's a Strangeling painting. She's got big eyes. I'm actually going to change this out a little bit, but also, too, I've had people, for example, who have either bid on a painting, like how we sometimes do it. Again, we're not bidding on this one. Don't tell us money. It is, and people say, well, her eyebrows look worried. Can you make her eyebrows look happy? Can you make her smiling? Can you make her mad? Can you make one of her eyes gone and she's a zombie? I'm like, yeah, I can. I paint all day. I can do that all day long. You know, I can totally do that.
One of her eyes gone.
Well, you know what I mean. This is just a suggestion of how the main shape of the character is going to look.
Very
you know
true.
what? I think I need a new pointy brush. All my pointy brushes are no longer pointy. And
Poor
I'm
Jasmine
running
and her
out
brush
of these.
dilemmas.
What's that, baby?
Poor Jasmine and her brush dilemmas.
I know. Oh, no, it's one of those bad brushes that I thought was good and it wasn't. Well, there's a type of brush. You guys have heard me talk about it. The SG 595 is the soft grip.
Yeah, it has to be
Golden
soft grip. That's important.
SG 595. And you will think you see them on the website, but they send you an SG 585 every time because they stopped making the 595s. I've talked to the manufacturers on multiple occasions. They're probably sick of talking to me, but they have stopped making them. They replaced them with this one that is kind of the bristle part's kind of the same, but it's a piece of wood with paint on it. And you know what happens to a piece of wood with paint on it when you like stick it in a cup for 2 days with water? It starts falling apart. I like the ones that are like the old type, that are plastic and have a soft grip that does not make horrible bruises on my knuckles when I hold it. Thank you very much. Unlike the wooden ones. And that's why they put a soft grip. They're lovely. They're clear. You can leave them in the water for a week if you have to go to England for no apparent reason. And then now they make these wooden ones. That's fine. Either that or they make these other ones, which are the SG 585s. I'll show you this because they just lie. And companies will send you this one. And look at how that is twice as long. Look at those bristles. That is literally twice as long.
These
it's probably
make a
a fine
to
brush.
They may not make a difference to
I only
me,
use
but
like 2 types of. I use 3 types of brushes, and the other brushes are ones I've made myself. So the fact that they've gone out of business is just making me mad. They haven't gone out of business. They've stopped carrying that product.
I think you need to make your own brand.
Yeah, I know. If I was clever enough, I'd make a Kickstarter. I'd be like, make Jasmine's brushes, and I'd have like a little outline, like just how Bob Ross has a little picture of him. I could do one. I could use my easel. My picture. Okay, now this is not going to happen, but that would be great. It'd be like, hey, here's my little logo. It's jamming with a paintbrush. But no.
I think your Kickstarter would do well.
That seems like a lot of work. Yeah.
Have you ever done a pixie cut hair fairy?
Yes, I have. I've done quite a few, actually, that have very, very short hair. I've done a couple of fairies that don't have any hair at all, actually. I did one for a little girl who was doing a radiation treatment. She didn't have hair. I was like, okay, and we did it for like a fundraiser thing. But I've done a few that have pixie cuts, like really super, super short hair. If you look on my website, you'll probably find them. There's a couple, several of my tiny treasure paintings are like that, and I've done maybe 3 of my faces of fairy are like that too.
Kitten said she'd buy some Jasmine brushes.
Aw. Well, that's the thing. I would mostly buy them. It wouldn't be for other people. It would be for me to buy. So that's not really what a Kickstarter is. Kickstarter is for stuff other people want.
You know what it really reminds me of?
What?
It's when in Batman Begins, the one with Christian Bale.
Yeah.
When he buys like 10,000 Batman masks.
Ah, yes.
Just to have one.
That's true. Yes. No, I'm not above that
Katisha
sort of
says,
thing.
"Do it, Jasmine brushes."
No, I don't think. And also, to be fair, I don't know that these brushes are all that good.
They're good for you.
I've had artist friends who bought this and like, why do you use those? Those brushes are shite. What are you even doing with those? And it's like, well, I'm a vegetarian. I don't want to buy the ones made out of dead squirrels or whatever. You know, no judgment, but I don't want to buy them.
But live squirrels are not okay either.
No, you know what I mean. They're actually not squirrels, too. They're little mink guys that they just call squirrel. But anyways, I didn't want to buy those, and I know that there are probably better brushes out there, and I just like those ones. I've had them for a long time.
And Girl says I'd buy them too, in her mixed colors of paint.
Okay, that's where you start like a merchandising line, man. And
that's
it's like,
what I'm saying.
Well, you know how like I make all my awful.
You can name them Strangeling brushes.
Oh, you know, maybe I could. Okay, you guys know because I mix them with my gesso. I've got all these weird gray colors. Here's my one in my old little moonshine jar. This used to have moonshine in it. Now it's got paint.
Apple pie.
Yeah, and it's got. I do all my own colors basically by the end. So. But yeah, it probably is a Batman thing where I'd only do it so I would be able to buy them myself. And it's like one other person bought them and it's like, yay, I got my own brushes and I got a factory to make them. But I don't know. I don't think I have time to do that sort of thing really. Maybe someday.
Darn it.
Ask me again when I've run out of brushes because I've got a couple friends in England who got some of the brushes that are still for sale.
Yay.
Yeah, and they're like, we'll bring them to Tinted Gel. I'm like, yeah. Let's do that. I'll PayPal you now. So, and then I've had other people try to say, "Hey, we found your brushes, Jasmine," and they weren't. They were SG585s. I'm looking for SG595. It is very sweet of you to try. And I myself have been tricked. And I bought ones on Amazon and on eBay that said SG595, and they sent me an SG585. It's like getting the wrong printer cartridge.
That's happened to me before with different products.
It happens with a lot of things.
Jasmine's
it's like,
painting starter kits.
See? But some
Brushes
people might buy that.
So well.
If I had a bigger follow, maybe if it was like partner here at Twitch, that would be a thing that might be popular.
You could even have a commercial for it.
Yeah, because I'd have to have commercials if I was a partner, so I could make a commercial for my own thing.
Angeline brand brushes.
Matt could do the voiceover.
No.
Sunshine could be there. Gamer could bite people at the end.
You could sell a Jasmine starter kit, a tutorial book, brushes, and basic paints to get started, and a DVD.
That would be like Bob Ross. Hey, that is how I learned how to paint, man. That was oil paints. And I started off in oil paints. I just thought acrylics were easier because I put my brush in my damn mouth all the time. But anyways, I'm outlining the areas again. I did the pencil sketch and I did the main circles and I kind of erased the other ones with my silly art eraser. But now I'm kind of going over it and trying to make it look more like a realistic character. And once I get to the point that she is starting to be shaded in, that will be when I post up at Patreon and say, hey, this is going to be a random surprise. Again, no raffles at Patreon because that's gambling. So I'm going to randomly surprise somebody at Patreon. Doesn't matter if you're a $1 person or...
It might surprise you. It might scare the hell out
of you. It might. You're like, hey, I even forgot about this lady. Now I have to choose what I want my painting out of. Oh, gosh. You can always say to me, hey, use your best judgment. Because that's what every artist wants to hear when you want to commission. You're like, yeah, okay, paint me something green. You know, just whatever.
A line of Jasmine miniatures to go with the paints. I think that's getting too weird.
I don't know, like those
You don't paint miniatures.
No. Like they're of my figurines, like from Bradford and Hamilton.
True.
So I'm just gonna kind of outline her eyes a little bit. Let's see.
Good music right there.
That's good music. That's some good painting music.
A line of Jasmine's miniatures. Oh, I already read that. Oh, miniature cats, and you can't forget Matt.
Aww.
Matt paints.
There you go.
Just M-A-T-T-E.
Of course, not glossy.
Paint by numbers.
Yeah, that's when I am actively... I've actually recently talked to the same company that I asked earlier about doing paint by numbers, and I'm hoping that's going to happen.
Well, maybe from that you could kind of get a better idea of how the other would go.
Yeah, it's the thing. It's like if only like 10 people buy it, it'd be like, well, that wouldn't really. Then I'd have to buy like 1,000 of them, and what? I mean, I'd probably use them. I mean, I don't know how many brushes I go through in a year. I don't want to count, but usually by the time I've used them up and they start getting fuzzy, I turn them into different brushes. I reuse them and turn them into different sort of brushes.
You also have to provide in the kit a green apron,
a
paper plate, and moonshine jar for mix-ins.
Yes, exactly. I'll get my dad to come up with some moonshine jars. He makes some moonshines there, and I could do a blue plastic plate.
Oh, like everyone in the room likes the paint by numbers.
Yes, paint by numbers. I actually think that'd be really cool because
we get them all nice and packaged. I mean,
that's one that might actually happen. That's not just me saying it. That's a company that wants to license them. So that
sounds lovely.
Yeah, I agree. I think that would be awesome. I did a bunch of paint by numbers when I was little. That's kind of where I got combination of that and then learning like the kind of wet on wet, which is not what I do with acrylics. Obviously, I'm very dry on dry, but I use a lot of the same sort of techniques that Bob Ross would do. A combination of paint by numbers plus Bob Ross when I was like 12. That is how I started into my little painting empire when I was a later teenager, and that's how I've earned a living since. Yeah.
How long did it take you to find your art style?
I'm still finding it. I never think of that as like a finite thing. If you look at paintings I did in the, like, let's say that, you know how you showed that Mother's Day card I made for your mom, like 20, however many years, that was 1998, 97, something like that.
So cute.
That's a good, I don't want to show that because it's a card I made for my mother-in-law, but, I could tell by looking at that. Now I'm like, well, obviously I had the big eyes, big round heads, cute little mouths, but I wasn't as good at painting. They looked more like, I don't know, like cartoons or comics or something like that. But I was still in high school, so I didn't know. But I'm better at painting now, so I've kind of kept that same proportion that looks kind of cartoony or looks kind of like anime or whatever. But I've kind of extrapolated from that to make a more old master style underpainting, shaded in, realistic sort of painting that almost looks like not a photograph, but it has a level of realism that's happened just because I've been doing it for so long. I've gotten better at painting, and that's the whole, hey, paint a bowl of fruit every day, get better at doing lighting and shading and color, etc. And if you apply that to whatever your style, your characters, whatever are, and mine were just kind of these little big-eyed things that were meant originally to be kind of caricatures of myself, and even Maddie in your Mother's Day card. Yes. I even painted a Maddie in that one. But,
I was little. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cute.
Tiny little
and bearded.
Yeah, and bearded. You're kind of bearded now, but so I don't know. It's when something happens that sort of not on purposey, like grassroots from when you're. It wasn't like I started off saying this is going to be a Strangeling character, even though I did have a logo. When I was a teenager making Mother's Day cards, I had a logo on the back. I was like, a Jasmine card written on it. And it's like, wow, I had a sense of marketing even then. But
Jasmine,
yeah.
Are you collaborating again with anyone for MegaCon pins or pictures or both?
For MegaCon, I don't think so for this year. Part of that is because MegaCon kind of surprised us by changing the date, so it was a couple weeks sooner than I thought it was going to be. Otherwise, I might have tried to work out something with maybe one of the other artists there, but there are a few artists I would love to do collaborations with. Some of them I've told 15 or 20 years ago I wanted to do a collaboration, and they still haven't gotten back to me, and vice versa. So that's always kind of a nebulous zone, because every day I get people say, hey, you want to do a collaboration? And I'm like, yeah, but I've already told somebody I would, but those people haven't gotten back to me, and it's complicated. But not for MegaCon, I don't think. But I will be doing some pins, of course, and some new artwork for MegaCon. For sure.
Jasmine,
yeah.
Katisha says your paintings have a lot more depth and detail in them now.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't want to show off my 20-odd-year-old Mother's Day cards, but yeah, you could look at it and say, hey, that's a Jasmine character, but it was not. It didn't look realistic. It would look more like something that a teenager would draw during her lunch break. You know, it was not. But to be fair, that is kind of when I did start my company, sort of like when I was selling stuff on eBay, and I started my website in 1997. So it's been a while. And I was little then. I was a kid still.
I need to take the seeds down.
Oh, baby. Is it getting dark out?
It's the right time. Just now.
Well, this time of year is when it's
getting lighter.
It is getting lighter out. And when did we figure out next Sunday is we'll be in California. Yeah, we'll be in California, and that's when daylight savings time is in America, at least. Yeah, so. Oh, you see them?
No,
Outdoor kitties? Whenever we talk about the kitties that are outside, those are not our kitties. We just have a lot of random kitties that live in our neighborhood. Yeah. Those are just kitties that I love, and I will give them food. And it's also a lot of possums, raccoons, and armadillos, and I kind of call them all kitties that live outside.
They're all cats.
We have 3 kitties that are our kitties that do not go outside. They live inside. They all used to live outside, but they all live inside now. We've trapped them, neutered them, etc., and they live inside. And that's Patreo, Sunshine, and Gamera, and those are the babies you see on here.
They are not allowed outside.
They are not allowed outside. They get to sit in the window a lot, and there are kitties that live in the neighborhood that are, a lot of them are feral. A lot of them are wild kitties.
Some look kind of fed, and we're not sure if somebody owns them or not.
Yeah, one of them had a collar one time. I'm like, does somebody own you or what? But yeah, they come here, and I don't want them to eat our birds, so I usually put out some food because they're going to be out. They will come eat the bird seed. There's a few scrawny ones, and there's nothing more depressing than seeing a cat eat bird seed because its tummy isn't full. It's sad.
Yeah.
So I put out a little food that anyone
We normally
could
wouldn't
eat,
do that, but these cats will otherwise.
They are not in a good way, but yeah. And I don't want them to eat the birdies. And if they have an alternative, because we get a lot of songbirds. We have multiple feeders in the yard for the birds. And we buy a lot of songbird-specific fruit and nut combinations that we put out there for tufted titmouse or for a lot of the Carolina wrens or the warblers or, even the mourning doves and cardinals and stuff like that.
Jasmine.
Yeah.
Will you ever do an updated version of Wicked, Trixie, and False?
I haven't really thought of that, but that would be kind of fun because I love that painting, and that's one of the first paintings I had that was like everybody had a bumper sticker of it, like in college or high school or whatever. And I was competent at painting then. I'm a lot better at painting now, so if I did one now, it could be a lot more realistic or even gruesome, or I don't know. That would be kind of fun.
I remember I was so proud of you. I saw somebody that had a bumper sticker.
Oh, was that one of the first times you saw it? Like,
lot, yeah.
Aww.
So I went and bought a camera, the throwaway type.
Oh, a disposable.
And I took a picture of it.
Oh,
it's
think if you did that now.
I don't even think they sell those.
Probably not. No, I mean if you did every time you saw somebody who had, I don't know, pictures on them or something.
Yeah, but it was very.
That's sweet, honey. Happy. Oh, that's adorable. Thank you.
Well, I showed it. You don't remember?
No, I remember that happening. I also remember being at Target when we were buying groceries.
We saw a puzzle?
No, it wasn't a puzzle. It was like a steering wheel cover.
Oh yeah.
It was like in the automotive, but we didn't buy it. We didn't even know they sold them there. It was a company that licensed them to Target that had like a co-brand with me or something like that. We were just like buying tomatoes and like counting our pennies and checking out Target, and the person in front of us had seat covers and like a steering wheel cover that had one of my fairies on it. I'm like, oh my god, they sell them at Target. That's so cool. That was kind of a oh my god sort of moment. Aw. That was before the internet was that popular. Yeah. Now you just buy that stuff on the internet. But it was funny to see stuff like that in real life when you're a kid and you're like, I painted that over there and now it's at Walmart. It's
doing little sweet things is now that the internet's around it's more sweet if you go the extra mile, but they make things that are versions of that so easy to do it gives it less meaning. Does that make sense?
Well, no, it's kind of true. Like right now, you could probably go to a website and get a picture of your nephew right now on a shirt. It wasn't like it was. Yeah, it used to be like, oh my god, you had to do this for years.
Oh, Wonderland Hacker says, oh, and Katisha used to feed feral kitties on her honeymoon here in Florida.
Aw, we got a lot of kitties here.
Wonderland Hacker asks, have you ever thought of doing one based on the game Alice Madness Returns? I think that might be American McGee.
That is American McGee. If they would license me and they would give me permission to, that would be a really fun co-brand. In fact, American, that is his first name. If you're out there, let me know. I'd love to do a co-brand. We could do some sort of licensing thing. I think we would both bring people to the project. So, not me just being subservient. But yeah, definitely, that'd be great. Because aren't they doing a new game finally? Or has that coming
rumors,
out?
But
no,
in
this year, aren't they? I don't know. I don't keep up with video games
because I haven't played them. I probably would be if I had played them. But
I love the artwork and stuff from. But yeah, I don't really get a lot of video game time. But I think that would be awesome. The America McGee ones are
But
those are some of the most mass-produced sort of creepier Alice in Wonderland stuff out there. And that would be awesome. I mean, I do a lot of Alice things, but that'd be fantastic. If I could do some kind of realistic portraits and stuff, and maybe do T-shirts. And
it's called Alice Asylum.
Okay,
that sounds cool.
Yeah, I saw it. Actually, I saw it up at the Dark Art Chet Czar's cooperative thing. Somebody posted about it not that long ago.
Is there someone working on it up there?
I don't know if they were working on it. They were just posting it because they liked it, but I saw it up there or the Dark Art cooperative website. So yeah. So that is definitely.
I hope it's wildly successful.
I hope so too. The more things like that I do, whether I'm involved with it or not, the better it is for all of us. So that's awesome.
Oh yeah, I hope it's not successful. It's kind of a jerk thing.
Screw you.
No, there's enough for everyone.
That's the thing about artwork. It is not people say it's a competitive. It's no, I think art of everything out there. It's not hey, I've got to buy tomatoes. I'm going to buy this brand or this brand. Art is something that you see something and you like it or you don't, or you like that one or you don't. That is not
broadly.
Broadly, very broadly. It is the opposite of a competitive.
Compete against yourself. Yeah. That's useful.
What's that?
Compete against yourself. Compete against the future you.
Oh,
if you constantly compete against the future you,
I always try to outdo my past self. That's kind of
always
going
to lose.
Yeah.
But that's a very good bit of advice. If you compete against your future self.
Your future self. I try to outdo my past self.
You try to what?
Outdo my past.
That's your future self competing with your past. It's the same thing.
Okay. Yeah.
No, think about where you'd be in the future and say, I'm going to kick their butt. And you can't. It's impossible, probably.
That's why I'd like a goal that I know I can accomplish by trying to beat my past self. It's like beating your own record. Like you were playing Super Mario Kart. You're playing against the last time you played. Your personal best. You're trying to be better than your personal best. I think that's a better way to go about it. I don't know. Just start sounding like a self-help book.
Took a coach through loads of winding country roads in the pitch black. So fun. Shaylee.
Oh, how fun! Shaylee has some adventures, man. I'm kind of jealous of Shaylee.
Can you give Kieran's YouTube a shout out?
Oh, yes. Those of you who like to watch my channel, if you don't like watching the whole thing or want to see highlights or a compilation of different things that happen, look at my friend Kieran who lives in England. It's Kieran's World. Kieran's World.
I'll find a link to
Yeah, up at YouTube. And he use the word parse. He parses my my Twitch broadcasts and puts them up on YouTube and makes a compilation best of sort of hits thing and puts them up there.
Basically edits me out.
Yeah, it's sorry Matt, you're out of here.
No problem.
No.
I understand.
Yeah, no, I am.
I couldn't possibly have hurt feelings from that.
Yeah, it's okay, babe. You're fine. Now he's gonna do a Matt special just because you feel bad.
No.
He's joking, Karen.
Possibly have hurt feelings from
joking.
That.
Yeah.
It wouldn't bother me at all.
No. I'm taking, even though this is still a sketch, I'm putting a little bit of shading in here. I'm taking the same color that is, it was the moonshine color. I should call that, it's moonshine background color, but I have big moonshine jars that are actually from my dad that actually have moonshine in them too. But I mix that with the gesso and I do a layer of that, and now I'm using a combination of this color with Van Dyke Brown and Payne's Gray to make the darker lines on it, and I'm taking some and mixing it with titanium, or not titanium white, Titan Buff. I'm mixing Titan Buff to do around the eyes, etc. Because we're gonna give this painting away up at Patreon, randomly surprising one of my patrons. Again, if you're not a patron, it costs $1. Go join me up there. Then it's like Twitch, but all the time. It's awesome, and you can help pay your power belt. Yeah.
Haley says you should join her on her adventures. Me
and Matt should go with Shaylee, and Gamera's gonna be there, and we're gonna go through wine country.
Gamera?
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if she meant you plural. I don't know. That sounds awesome.
It says she was inviting you and me.
I see, but so Gamera is not invited.
Not invited.
Sorry, Gamey. Gamera is not an enemy you want to make. For those who don't know, Gamera is our cat. Gamera is not just a turtle monster. but she's kind of like the turtle monster.
I'm not gonna bring the kitties. Actually,
where?
Maybe.
Yeah, yeah. See.
But I'm not gonna bring on a Mr.
There.
Toad ride through the country.
Well, I don't know. We haven't we kind of before a little bit.
Well, people in the room say they love me.
Aww.
I wasn't looking for that, but thank you very much.
Maddie was wanting the pity boat here.
I honestly, I really
well, then why'd you bring it up, love?
Oh, because you, I was making a joke about myself.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm good.
Exactly.
Thank you, guys.
Mm-hmm.
And bring the paint too.
Yeah.
The Shaylee.
Okay. I'll
you guys can paint, and
I'll paint
we can watch
darn
TV.
Day. Yeah. Mhm.
You can watch Toast.
You watch Toast and I'll paint. It's like being at home now.
Yeah. Why
like,
even leave?
Welcome to my world.
But actually, we shouldn't bring the kitties because she has birdies.
Oh yes, we do want to bring kitties if she has birdies at her house because our kitties. We have I don't know if people know what hangouts are. They're a plastic like acrylic little bird feeder. I have one on the outside of my window here. It has suction cups and you put seeds in it and birdies come and they get cozy and they eat the seeds. But you can see the birds up close and they're against your window because they just see a reflection. They don't know that you're looking at them. So you see birdies up close. But my gosh, our kitty cats love that. Remember Gamer earlier, Maddie? And
yes.
Rio will, in sunshine, will stand up on their hind legs and go right up to the birdie hangout. And they're like right there. And they just kind of chitter.
Really lucky they don't try to.
And they talk to him through the window.
Wow.
Yeah, they don't try to go outside, but they'll do it. They'll try to get the birdies through the window. And those hangouts under those clear acrylic suction cup thingies, and you put food in there. And the birdies will get cozy in there, and you can see the birdies up close and see them eat their food. It's very cute. I love them. But that's kind of an enrichment for any kitty cats you have inside, because then they get to feel like they're looking at birdies up close, but they can't hurt them because there's a window.
Yeah, Viago might like the kitties, but our cats are not well behaved as far as eating birds would go.
No, our kitties are barely. Again, I think I don't even want to show you all the wounds on me from our terrible cats. No, but they are
truly feral cats.
They're feral, like
they're rescue cats.
They're rescue. Two of them were somewhat social. Well, one of them was socialized.
One would be okay for a family. The other,
but you couldn't like clip with claws or something. Fine. You know. I don't know.
But Gamera, I would not recommend to.
Oh no, Gamera should not be allowed around humans.
She says he's like a dinosaur. He might eat them.
Okay, well that could be fair.
Oh, Rachel, good luck on your Dragon Con application.
Oh, who's it?
Rachel.
Oh, excellent. Best of luck, Rachel. We'll see you there.
Dragon Con's going to be very busy. You'll love it.
Dragon Con is going to be crazy this year. Yeah. Like I said, we've been on the waiting list for a very long time, but we're hoping to finally get an area up in the dealer's room, and I'll have stuff in the art show room also.
Yes.
So we'll keep you posted. We gotta wait to get it.
We'll definitely keep you posted. But we'll try not to make it a secret.
Yeah. Oh no, you know me. I won't shut up when I'm doing something. So speaking of, I know we're probably getting closer to being night time here. Well, for some of you guys watching, okay. But we won't be here next Sunday because we will be in California, and we will be back 1 week from Sunday. So, what is that, love? The 17th? Oh yeah, we talked about it. It's St. Patrick's Day.
Yes.
We'll be here St. Patrick's Day at 3
p.m.
Green. Yes, and what?
I'll be wearing green.
You know, I will be because I got my apron. Yeah, but
unless I want Jasmine to pinch me.
Okay.
Which I might.
And if that's the case, we won't discuss it online. But
we won't.
I'm going to have my green apron on, but next weekend you can come see us, and we'll be in California. I have 3 signing events at Disneyland. One you have to have a ticket for, the other 2 you do not. So if you want to go to the one that's less crowded, go to the one you have to have a ticket for. But Friday night, 6 to 9 p.m. This coming Friday. I will be at the Wonder Grand Gallery at Downtown Disney. Everybody can come to that. All ages, no tickets. You just got to get there. You can park there at Downtown Disney. Just come over to the Wonder Grand Gallery, and I will sign stuff for you. It'll be great. And they'll have my new 3 Disney pieces that we've been showing off for the past month that have been here in Florida for Epcot, but they will be in California. And I will be signing those. And I think they'll have merchandise and postcards and everything there, hopefully. Again, I never know until I get there. I don't make those. Disney does. I just do the paintings. But then the next morning, Saturday, March the 9th, I will be over inside the California Adventure Park from 11 o'clock until 1 o'clock. So for 2 hours, I will be inside the park. You have to have a park admission or ticket to get in there, and it's for part of the Food and Wine Festival at the Festival Gifts Pergola booth that I think it's over kind of by La Familia, by the Boardwalk Garden Grill off the page area there. Let's look for the Pergola art signing. I'll be there. And I will be signing stuff for 2 hours there at Disney California Adventure. And then immediately thereafter, I think I get 10 minutes for lunch, and then I run over to downtown Disney at the Wonderground Gallery again on the afternoon of Saturday the 9th.
Trying to figure out how that's going to work.
Saturday the 9th, and I go back again from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. So for 2 hours, I am over at the Wonderground Gallery at downtown Disney, and I'll be signing stuff there. If you want less of a line, go, and you have a pass or a ticket or your pass holder or something like that, go to the 11 to 1 o'clock inside Disney California Adventure at the Pergola at the Festival Gift Center, because that will be less crowded. The one at downtown Disney sometimes gets very crowded.
Not that you didn't have crazy crowds.
Oh no, I have crazy crowds everywhere, but it will be less crowded because you don't need a ticket, or you have to have a ticket to go to the park. So if you're a pass holder, go to that one, go to that one, go to that one. But otherwise, come to downtown Disney and I will sign stuff for you there, or you can come say hi. You don't even have to buy anything. You come say hi. That's fun. And if you're still in the artsy mood, we were talking about earlier, that evening, if you go down to Long Beach, my friend David Van Gogh, whose painting you've seen behind me for I don't know how many months, is doing a show at the Dark Art Emporium. And I have a lot of friends up here who are members of the Dark Art Collective and go to Dark Art Emporium at Long Beach and David Van Gogh's Parodies this fall. I think the opening starts at 7 o'clock, probably goes to like 11. Matt and I will be there at some point just to say hi. We're not doing our work. I'm there to look at stuff and support my friend. But if you're in an artsy day and you want to have a long art day and you're in Los Angeles, go do that because that's awesome. And it's a cool shop anyways, so.
If I look like I'm insane when I'm there, it's because I had to drive.
It's because you had to drive from Malibu to Anaheim, from Anaheim to Malibu, from Malibu to Long Beach. So that's like 90% of your day was in a car. So that's when we talk about London and their tubes. That is lovely. But
so 3 minutes to wrap.
Okay. Aww. Again, I'm just doing the shading on this, and this will be a painting that you cannot buy, but we will give away for free at my Patreon. And I try to do this about once a month. Usually it's a little painting I've already done, but since everybody's really seemed to enjoy doing these, the mini paintings that people have been bidding on here at Twitch, and again, these usually go between $2,000 and $3,000, so, but I'm giving one away for free up at Patreon. And it's completely random. Doesn't matter if you're a $1 subscription or a $1,000 subscription, $5,000 subscription, doesn't matter. Everybody gets entered in randomly, and I pick somebody, and you'll get to tell me how to finish the painting.
You do not have to resubmit the raffle each time. No. Moobot has a decent...
Yeah, Moobot, we're talking about Twitch here. Yeah, that will be, once you've entered, you're entered for Twitch. Patreon is different than Twitch. A lot of the same people are at one and the other. Patreon is different, though. If you aren't a Patreon person, you won't be included in this one. But I'm not going to pick somebody probably for the next week. So if you aren't a member up there, do it in the next few days, and you will be included. Also, you get other goodies, and you find out when I'm going to be at Twitch next before everybody else. You get to see sneak previews of paintings. It depends what tier you're in. You get the pins.
This is for Seashell Collector Pin.
This is for the Seashell Collector Pin. Where'd she go?
She'll be right there. I don't know.
Okay. Oh, yeah. She's under my palette. Okay. Da-da-da. This last giveaway is for Seashell Collector, and she was a special pin we did for Disney Springs Pop Gallery in December, so a few months ago. So she was one that was never for sale either. I like to do things that are just for free for people who happen to be there, and this is one that was a free pin. So she's still free, and she's free for somebody watching Twitch. So congratulations. If you are not a pin person and you win it, go trade up at the pin group, because somebody will want to trade you for that one, because if they were not here literally in person in Florida, they would not have gotten it.
There you go.
Yep. Well, again, I think a lot of people don't understand the idea of event exclusives. They're like, oh, it's to make pins more rare. I'm like, no, it's to make people come in person to events. You do event exclusive pins for the purpose of people coming to the event. It's like, hey, free popcorn for people who show up. It's kind of like that. And that's what they are. But if you look at it in hindsight, you're like, oh, I wish I'd been there. Is there a way I can get it? I'm like, yeah, watch Twitch. We'll give one away. Is that alarm for the giveaway?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Jax says, is Jasmine's favorite brush SG595 size 0 short liner or script liner?
That's the same thing.
It's the same
sometimes
thing.
They're called short liners, sometimes they're called script liners.
Found SG595 golden tack-on soft grip size 0 short liner.
Where'd they find it?
I don't know. Go ahead and email us.
Email us at jasminetotodale.com if you can post that.
It's Jackie.
Okay. Oh, it's Jackie. Oh, awesome. Okay. Well, email us and let me know
I'm
because
sure Jackie knows.
You know our email address, Jackie? Okay. But there are I have had a problem with ordering from some companies that say 595 and they send me 585. So I have a list of like 8 different companies that have kind of bait and switched me on that. Which, to be fair, a lot of artists might not be particular. They're like, oh, they're great for painting cat's whiskers. But the ones that are like that long, which are the 585s, I have no use for them. They're not as detailed as something like this.
Little Purple Fairy one.
Little Purple Fairy. What a good name. I like
Aww.
that. That sounds like a painting I would do. Sounds like a good little t-shirt or a sticker, like something that would be at Target. Little Purple Fairy.
I think Little Brown Cat sounds good.
Little Brown Cat. Oh, that's my favorite. Okay. But here is your wonderful seashell collector, Little Purple Fairy. I don't know if you can see it. Maybe I'll put on that camera up there. Little Purple Fairy has one seashell collector. Congratulations. I'll sign this too. There's kind of like a little black area under the pen I can sign here. And I'll sign my name on it. So congratulations.
Yay.
So we will be seeing some of you guys. We'll see a bunch of you guys in California at Disneyland, at Disney California Adventure, or the Wonder Grand Gallery. Or that next Saturday night at the Dark Art Emporium in Long Beach. We might see you there. Just come say hi. I'm not selling stuff there. I'm just being fronts. Yeah. Don't sell me pins or anything. Okay. Thanks, guys. We'll see you 2 weeks.